Alright, public service announcement. It's very important. I want to say fuck teachers, fuck school, fuck every public school in the entire fucking United States of America. Fuck every college in the United States of America. I hate them. Hate you. Fuck you. Let me tell you something else, alright? Drop out of school. It's unnecessary. I'm gonna tell you, I learned everything I ever needed to learn off YouTube. It's easy. I'm gonna tell you like this, but fuck YouTube, by the way, but, shout out to them for this. Let's go. I learned everything I know off YouTube. Before I started watching vids, I didn't have a clue. Needed help, cause I got expelled in preschool. Age 3. Even back then, I was known to act a fool. Retarded. Fuck going to class, teacher give me sass. Now I drop out, I'm sitting on my fat ass. Obese. Homeless, only clothes that I got are trash bags. Better figure something out, cause I need cash. I'm steady stressing hard. What will I do? Stress. The man at the bus stop told me, hey dude, can you smash my like button and give me a view? Okay. I popped in the library and hopped on the tube. Login. One thing about me is I never learned to read. Illiterate. But when I'm on YouTube, that ain't shit I need. Don't give a shit. Recommended video called We Have the Sneed. I watch it now, I could play guitar easily. Sneed. Alright, from the top. So we'll post day and night by the old feed and seed. They have the Jenny, but we have the Sneed. Learn cooking from Google. I still pack a Ruger. Just watched that new Wolf Pit where he ate 3 types of tuna. Starkest. Recommended video called ASMR by Luna. Bitch. I found her number on Google, so I got my dick sucked off Google. Bitch. Changed my life overnight, wish I figured that out sooner. Quicker. White page, people search, found e-girls' addresses, I'm moving. Next just drop some fire music, it's on TV, so I'm booming. Girls do anything for class, so we linked up and I'm coolin'. By the way, I'm homeless, bitch. Sleep on your floor, we rooming. Homeless. I am not a felon, baby, that is just a rumor. Acquitted. I cannot wipe you if you got a basic sense of humor. Bitch. Next month I turn 20, so I'm damn near a boomer. Elderly. Bought 1,000 printed AR receivers, but I'm not a shooter. Nah. I passed out on the sidewalk and got ran over by a scooter. Ding, ding, ding. Ew.
I hope you guys enjoyed that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful song that we just played there. What's popping, people? Oh wait, let me get my camera on. We got it. Yeah, you guys gotta see. You guys gotta see my beautiful face. What's popping, people? Welcome back to your friendly hood. I hope the music isn't too loud for you guys. Hope everything's sounding good. So you're probably wondering why I've gathered you all here today. What is this stream about, Nui Sans? You're probably asking. So let me fill you in on a little bit of the lore. So for those of you that don't know, let me open up a new tab here. I just recently did a video which was called We Proved God is Real. I did it last week, and then I had a little bit of trouble in my life, so that's why I haven't been able to upload. But we did a video called We Proved God is Real. And so yesterday, I got a comment on that video, and it was a very peculiar comment. Now, I always try to read the comments that are on my videos, but this one stood out to me in particular just because of how awfully, horribly, just confusingly written the comment was. And it was from a guy named Deconverted Man. And the comment read, we'll zoom in here, we'll zoom in so you guys can read it. Don't know if Poe. Going to respond as if not a Poe. Woot. So I thought, this is probably just another, average schizo that's going to be, viewing my stuff. I just realized the music is turned off. Oh, well. Another schizo leaving comments on my videos, right? Boomer mode. Don't know if Poe. Going to respond as if not a Poe. Woot. Just very, very, very strange. Very odd. I didn't really know what to make of this. So of course I just responded, okay, assuming, this was going to be it. I'm not going to hear from this man again. But boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I incorrect about that. Because about a minute later, our young son, Deconverted Man, he responded to what I said. And here's what he had to say. Here's what he had to say. He had to say, I'm going to live to do so. Enjoy the show. And this time, I knew I was screwed. I knew that I was going to be, totally destroyed. My career was going to be over. Because this man, Deconverted Man, I didn't know who he was. But he was doing a live stream on me. Now, to be honest, I figured this was going to be a nobody. Somebody that nobody has ever heard of. So I clicked on his name to find that this man has 2,053 subs. We got a big boy. We got a big boy here, chat. Viewers, can we get a big boy in chat? Can we get big boy in chat? I have some people in the chat that says, we got Moss here that says, what is a Poe? I don't know what a Poe is, but he said, don't know if Poe. Called me not a Poe, so if it was an insult, then I guess he's not insulting me. But we got a big boy here. And I saw he's live. And he is doing a live stream, which is entitled, Your Friendly Hood Does Not Prove God is Real. He says that I did not prove that God is real. But peculiarly, I clicked on the stream. And if you look at the stream here, we're going to look at the stream right now. There are 80 views on this stream. Now it's been a full day since this stream is uploaded. Just so you understand this, it has been one full day since that stream is uploaded. And he has 2,000 subscribers, as we just said. He has 2,530 subscribers. Okay? And he only has 60 views. 60 views on a video that's been out for one day. Now I want you to look at my channel. In fact, we'll open up my channel. Let's go to the Your Friendly Hood channel, and we just look at the average video. Now, sure, my videos, I'm not the biggest channel. I only have 600 subscribers, but we look at my videos. And, they're getting like 252 views. They're getting 190 views, 210 views. We have 8 people watching the stream right now. All right. And my boy with 2,000 subscribers could only muster about 3 viewers while the stream was going on. So I don't know exactly what's going on there. I guess this guy has a dead YouTube channel or something. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe he paid and he bought it, his subscriber count up. I'm not exactly sure. But this man, this wonderful just character that we can already tell is just going to be a real interesting character is who we're going to be making the remainder of this stream about. We're going to be diving into the mind of the very intelligent, artistic, Deconverted Man. If you would give me just a quick second, I would very much like to play for you a little clip. It's a very short clip. It's about 10 seconds from a interview that Deconverted Man did with a man named the Christian Apologist.
I do not find any flaw in the idea of in mass killing babies left and right. I think that would actually be the most moral.
Let's play that one more time.
I only agree due to of heaven, white, and is better than the possibility of hell. So the most moral choice. I'm using Pascal's wager plus the age of account.
What the hell? All right, hold on. I guess I played it wrong. Hopefully, if you actually heard the little bit of audio that I played there, the wonderful, wonderful piece of audio that I just played there, that It was very, very low in my ears for some reason, but I hope you could hear it. You can tell me in chat if you heard it. He said, the most moral option, if there is a heaven, is to take every baby and child in the world and systematically murder them. So already we can tell this man is a genius. I'd say he probably has 150 IQ. He is a very smart man, and he knows, just exactly how to, debunk Christianity. Smart man, smart man. And I know that I'm just going to be blown the F out when I watch this video. But did you know that Deconverted Man is also a great artist? Yes, right here, as you guys can see, Deconverted Man, he made a short movie for a movie making contest, which is called Dear Susan. Now, chat, do we want to watch this? Do we want to watch this movie? Do we want to watch this movie? LMAO, infanticide, heaven percent speed one. Infanticide, any percent speed run. No. Apparently we don't want to watch it. Well, guess what? You're going to watch it because I had to watch it.
How do I do this?
Now, I don't know if you can hear this. This is very hard to hear. It's very low, so I have it turned up as much as it can be. I'll be quiet.
That we've been seeing each other, and let's see. I just have to get the word.
Can you hear that, chat?
If I put it all, just put it all on the line, I know that she'll return my feelings for her.
Do you hear it? Are you hearing this?
Everything that I am, and all that I have, and all that I am, everything, just give her it. Then she'll say yes. She has to. Of course she'll say yes. She knows. Yes. I can feel. I just know that she'll say yes. She'll say yes. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm gonna write this. I'm gonna send this. Dearest Susan, I've loved you from the moment I met you. Every day I am with you, I am whole. Every moment we are apart, I am broken. You are my all, my soul, my heart, my mind. Will you marry me? I don't feel like it.
Oh no, our boy's been rejected.
I don't feel like it.
Ayo?
I don't feel like it.
Average atheists be like.
Feel like it. That's your answer. I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it.
And here we see the voice of our boy, Deconverted Man. The man who made a 1-hour exposed video on me. But let's listen to what he has to say.
I can't. Without her. I'll show her. I'll show them all. I don't feel like living. Check all this. I feel like living. Show you. I'll show you. You'll be sorry when I'm gone. You'll be sorry when I'm dead. Buried in the ground. Just cold like your heart. This is. I don't feel like. No. Wait. I don't feel like dying.
Don't worry, it's almost over. I think he might have died. So not only did a 40-year-old morbidly obese Coomer make a video exposing an 18-year-old, but in addition, he's also a ghost. Now I could see in the chat that you guys were just enjoying that. Let's read a couple of the messages that we got here. Is he proposing to Susan Wojcicki? Asks Chemo Sabe. Nice name. I like that name. It's kind of funny. Joel says average atheist. Is there context for this? Says Wasabi. Mike Supercomputer answers no. Mr. Orange Horseman requests that I read out his debate that he had with him in the comments. Moss says, praise the Lord that this video is over. And Mr. Orange Horseman says, what did I just watch? Well, for those of you who are tuning in, we just watched a short film that was made by a man who made a 1-hour expose video trying to debunk and failing to debunk over the course of 1 hour my 15-minute proof of God video. And it took him 1 hour to go through that entire video. And I wanted to have you watch this, not in vain, not just to give you a laugh, but just so we have a visualization, if you will, of what this deconverted man looks like. Who is the deconverted man? Who is this man making a 1-hour live stream about my video? Who is he? So now that we finally understand who is Deconverted Man, I think we're finally ready to watch the 1 hour long. No, we don't want to play you yet. 1 hour long video that he's made on me. Now, this video is going to really test your patience, chat. It's not going to be boring necessarily because, as you know, I'm a great host. Deconverted Man, more like the cuckolded man. But we're about to watch his big brain 262 IQ takedown of my 15-minute video that proves God is real. Are you guys ready? We're about to watch. I hope you're ready, chat. Let's make sure the audio is all the way up. We got to make sure we can hear this guy. He's a little bit of a quiet speaker. A little bit of a quiet speaker. Are you ready? Let's go.
Deconverted Man here. All right. God is real. This guy proved it.
And see, he already admits defeat. I can't talk. He already did. I can't talk. He already admits defeat. How many seconds in are we? 28 seconds into the video. Actually 7 on his end. He already admits defeat. He said, I proved it. So I don't know why exactly he's making the video, but we're going to actually let him go more than 7 seconds because I'm not retarded and I don't want this to be 3 hours long, though it probably will be.
Let's take a look at it. Here we go.
And all together totally prove there's a God. Well, today that's what we're doing.
Atheism is the real pandemic.
So true. So true.
The first evidence for the truth that there is a God is one that most people have probably heard before, and that is the Kalam cosmological argument. So
this is again. Oh, good. The Kalam Cosmos.
Now, already, I haven't even, proposed, the argument within the video, okay? And I haven't even, gotten one sentence into that argument, right? I just said the name of it, okay? And he immediately pauses, thinking that he knows what is going to be said in the entire rest of this segment, which is about 2-minute long segment. And he is going to explain preemptively why I'm wrong. And he does this a lot during the video. Throughout this entire thing, the reason why it is 1 hour long is because he keeps continually doing this. And occasionally he will even make complaints about things that are then later explained. And had he just watched a video for like 3 seconds longer, he would have had his question answered. But because he has zero impulse control, which we can tell from his physiognomy, he looks like a coomer, a porn addict, maybe even a drug addict, in fact. 40 years old, 40 years of living in sin. Of course, he has no impulse control. But still, as this is the caliber of man that we are going to be dealing with on this video.
Logical argument. Yay! I've got a video that details how wrong this is. It's been done to death. But what's interesting in this video is he can't even seem to recite the Kalam correctly. Like, he changes the wording of it. So his version is different. So let's listen to his version of the Kalam.
So he's making a claim there. He says that I worded it differently. I worded it differently than how it is worded. He's already failed to actually debunk any of my arguments. He already knows that I've proven God's real, so he has to immediately resort to grammatical error. Haha, you misspelled a word. I almost had to agree that God's real, but you mispronounced something. Therefore, God's false. God's fake.
And I'll explain how it's still broken.
And he's still wrong, though. He's literally wrong, though, because I don't say it incorrectly. The Kalam argument, in fact, we're going to look it up just so we know. Kalam cosmological argument. It's 3 premises. Are we actually going to be able to find it on Google? Please tell me we can just find it on Google. All right. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe has a cause. So these are 3 premises, and he's saying that I did it wrong, that I did not say it correctly. If we can find it, we can find his video. So let's see if that's even a true statement, or if he's just like spewing nonsense, just anything that he can possibly say to make people think that I'm some kind of idiot, to make himself feel like as though he's actually debunked the argument. Let's see.
Yeah, that should be fun. Hey, look, I can put myself down here. That's kind of cool. I'm gonna leave myself down here.
The Kalam cosmological argument is a set of 2 factual statements. And
no, it's a set of 2 premises and then a conclusion. But whatever, you know.
if they
Is this what he's complaining about, that I said 2 factual statements? Let's just go through them again. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. Okay? Everything that begins to exist, everything that begins has a cause. Babies, fetuses, they have a cause. What is the cause? That a sperm cell went into an egg cell. How fire begins to exist? What is the cause? The cause is that spark hit wood, make carbon combust. Or, however you're going to start the fire. Now, the universe began to exist. And yes, it did begin to exist. As atheists will tell you, they'll talk about the Big Bang. They'll say how the creation myth is false. We have no evidence for that. So the universe began to exist in some way. I've heard people say that the universe has always existed, and that when it was in the singularity, which expanded, that became the Big Bang, that banged out, that it always existed as a singularity. Well, what is the universe? Is the universe the energy within the universe, or is the universe the form that the universe takes place in? I don't think a little tiny ball of all the energy in the universe compressed like this tiny is exactly what most people would think of when they think of the universe. So the universe, at least as we know it, what the universe is in most people's minds, it began to exist at a date like a couple billion or so years ago. I don't know one. I'm not a scientist, I'll be honest with you. Because I'm not a book cuck. I'm not a book cuck. Is anybody saying anything interesting in this chat? Bro, this dude doesn't even have braces and got obesity lips. Got that obesity lisp. I hate this man's voice. Sounds like this is going to be an hour of semantics and nitpicking. Yes, that is what this entire video is going to be. As we will continue to see, not one argument does he actually debunk. He just nitpicks either little stumblings in my speech or like little inconsistencies in like or like little grammatical errors, essentially, right? He just nitpicks like little things and like spews some BS about them and why this isn't true. Provides no actual evidence to the contrary that that's not true. And then just moves on. And after he's done like 15, 16 pausing, nitpicking, unpause, pause, nitpick, unpause, pause, nitpick, unpause. By the time he's done that 15 times, he will then act as though the argument has been debunked. But not once did he actually listen to the argument all the way through, and never did he actually debunk the argument itself. He just nitpicked a bunch of things in my presentation of the argument. Let's keep watching.
They are both true, can lead you to certain conclusions. So the first statement that the Kalam argument makes, all things that begin to happen require that something causes them to begin. So for example,
All right, so yeah, you heard how it's different. Like all things that begin to happen, you know, like what does that mean? You know,
what does that mean?
Because it's worth sharing.
What does that mean? What does it mean? All things that begin to happen have a cause. What does that mean? This is the level of big brain mental gymnastics that we're gonna see in here. What does that mean? He said all things that begin to happen. What does that mean? That's something that happened. That's something that happened. What caused this to happen? What caused this to happen? It's like he just like tries to find any way to like make me seem like I'm an idiot or something, right? So he'll pick out things that are totally logically sound, totally grammatically sound, totally like nothing wrong with them. And then he will just say, "That's wrong. That's not right. What does that mean?" When he gets to my fourth argument, which we'll get to later in the video, he says like the most retarded thing you will ever hear. Like in this exact format, listens to something that is totally logically sound, and then says, "What? What?" and acts like this is the most mind-blowing, insane stuff he's ever heard. Alright, well, let's keep going. Peace out, AW.
Causes them to begin. So for
all things that begin to happen requires that things cause them to happen to begin. What? Huh? It's clunky. Okay, it's clunky. The way.
No, you're just retarded. Let's listen to what I said again.
Happened to all things
required thing causes them to begin. So for
all things
require that something
replay it because it's worth hearing again.
Require that something causes them to begin. So for
all things that begin to happen requires that things cause them to happen to begin. What?
So he just like adds in a bunch of words there because he's mentally disabled, as it says in the thumbnail of this stream. He is disabled. Okay? And then just adds in a bunch of words because he's mentally disabled, and then says that his made-up version of my sentence is badly worded and is clunky, when I never did I say these words. Are you guys starting to see just how wonderful this man is? How wonderful this man is. Let's listen to what he has to say.
It's clunky. Okay, it's clunky. The way he reworded it makes it more clunky than it already was. and it was pretty clunky to begin with. So, all things, which is not a thing that you can say anything about because you don't know about all things. This is a universal statement that would have to be demonstrably demonstratable, and
Did you just hear what he just said? Did he really just say that the laws of cause and effect, the universal law of causality, which is a universal law, we can look it up on Google, the law of causality. Law of causality. We can look it up. It is a universal law, I'm pretty sure. I mean, we can look at it. We'll look it up right now. I gotta find it. Causality is influence by which one event, process, or state contributes to the production of another event, state, or object. Anyway, so causality, right? What I'm saying, okay, is that if something happens, something caused that thing to happen, right? And this is something that is universally true. I would love to see somebody attempt to disprove that and say that not everything that happens has a cause, but I think anyone with a functioning mind can look, just like think about this, right? And understand that literally everything that happens in a material universe, the universe which we exist in, the material universe, that everything which happens has a cause for it to happen. For example, why'd that GoPro just go flying across the room? It's because I threw it. And even if you didn't know I threw it, you know that the GoPro going like that had a cause. You know that my mouth moving has a cause. You might not know what that cause is, but you do know that my mouth moving has a cause. Everything in the universe, okay, has a cause. Everything that happens within the universe has a cause, right? And the universe is the collection of everything that exists, right? Theoretically, everything that we can observe to exist is what the universe is. So if the universe is, by definition, everything that we observe to exist, and if everything within the universe has causality and runs by the universal law of causality, cause and effect, then the universe, which is just everything that we have observed and everything that we observe has causality, then the universe has a cause. That is the argument. A 3-year-old, maybe not a 3-year-old, but like a 5-year-old, by the time you're 5, you could grasp this concept. You could understand that. But he's like, how do you know that everything operates by cause and effect? Well, find me one thing that doesn't operate by cause and effect, and you can't. You cannot find anything that operates without cause and effect. You can find things where we don't know what the cause is, but for anything to happen in the entire universe, for anything to happen that requires there be a cause because of the nature of the material universe. You don't know that. How do you know that? You have to prove that everything operates by cause and effect.
it's not. You could at best say all things that we've observed, but that would still not really hold true, at least for this, because the wording is so clunky. You know. Anyways, but basically it's
what was clunky?
Needs other stuff
what was clunky
to make
about
that
it?
Stuff do stuff. Yeah, there you go.
What was
There you
clunky?
go. That's
were all the words that you added in with your retard mind? That was what that's where all the clunkiness
way
came
to
from,
do
man.
it. Yeah.
I didn't
Stuff
say
means
it
stuff.
clunkily.
It
I
happens.
said it exactly how I intended it to sound. It wasn't what you said. You just making up things to nitpick. You're not even nitpicking things that are in the video. You're just making up things.
Stuff. There you go. That's how you do it. All right.
Example, if a car starts, it has to start for a reason. Putting your key
If a car starts, it has to start for a reason. Wow. Brilliant.
in the ignition and turning it on. Now, the second point that it
Yeah, well, putting your key in the ignition and turning it on, is that
Now listen
the
to this
start of
one.
the
Listen
car
to this one.
starting? Or is it like the mechanics inside of the engine that makes it go, the spark and the fuel? Like,
Now see, he's using logic. This is something that atheists can't do, is we just logically think about what causes the car to start. And I'm not a mechanic. I don't know exactly, the inner workings of an engine. Okay, because I'm a computer kid, okay? I'm a computer nerd. I don't know nothing about these engines or whatever, right? I can do barely anything to a car. But listen, we can use our minds. What's causing the engine to start? Well, there has to be, like, the inner workings of the engine are doing something. There's probably sparks from the spark. Like, the key is probably causing a chain of events to happen. It's not just that, the key is being turned, because obviously that has to have another effect and another effect and another effect for the engine to actually start moving, and then for the car to start moving. And see, so he's using his mind. He's talking about these sparks. He's talking about the inner workings, the inner mechanics of the engine, right? Like this is how we use logic. What caused the key to turn? Well, my muscles contracted and compacted. I don't know if that's the word. And why did that happen? Because nerve inputs went into there. And why did the nerve inputs go into there? Because I decided to do that. And then why did I decide to do that? Probably because I'm trying to go somewhere. Why am I going somewhere? Well, I'm going to the store. Why am I going to the store? Oh, because I need to pick up something. Like, you can logically think and make up the chain of events. Regardless of anything he says, there was still a reason for the process to start. Yeah, and it can be multiple things. I'm not saying that there has to be just one cause. The whole argument is just that there is a cause.
but then my arm that is holding my hand that's okay.
Shut up.
Cause my arm to
Shut up. We already went through this.
Anyways, so the first thought that God has will have an end of anything.
Who cares? Nobody cares.
Is that the universe
Everyone wants to listen to me. They don't want to listen to you.
started. And I think that most people would agree with this. Some people might want to dodge around this and try to claim that the universe has always existed. Logically, the universe has a start, and that start has been measured by science. The Big Bang is allegedly the start of the entire universe. So if the universe started, there must be a cause for that. Now, I watched...
Well, that's not exactly what science says. That's first of all, which I already deal with my cosmological argument. And then secondly...
What? He doesn't... be specific! I made like 3 points there, and it's not even the end of my point yet. I'm going to sum it up in a conclusion. But I made 3 statements there, I'm pretty sure, right? I made multiple statements, let's just say, right? What one are you responding to? What one does science not say? Are you saying that that the beginning of the universe is not real? Like what? What are you saying? You just say science doesn't say that. Like, please be specific about what you are responding to.
We don't know if there is or isn't a cause, at least in the sense that we're used to cause and effect, because when you go back to the T1 point, the problem is the physics are way different. This is where deductive reasoning doesn't really get us to the necessarily right answer. We can only use deductive reasoning or inductive reasoning so far. And the problem is deductive and or inductive reasoning works now in the physics that we understand right now. But those physics were different way back towards the beginning of the universe because things are really, really hot. And so things are different when things are super hot like they would have been in the very early stages of the universe. So for all we know, cause and effect might not be a thing during that different physics. Now, I'm not saying that that is the case, but I'm saying that it could be the case. And because of that potential counterexample...
Did you guys just hear what this retard just said? What? So this is something that a lot of atheists say. I had an argument with a guy on our Discord server, which I will not be giving the link to, because Deconverted Man is going to raid my Discord server. But I had an argument with a guy on our Discord server on the super secret Your Friendly Hood Discord server. I'm keeping it secret so we don't have Discord mods and Discord kittens. But he there's this guy named Moores, and he's an atheist, and he's probably watching the stream. And he basically made this argument that during the Big Bang, physics were different than they are now, right? So please explain to me how physics, like, acting different, which I don't know how that's even possible. It all has to, like, be exactly the same because physics are a property of the universe itself. Okay? They're a property of the universe itself, a property of matter itself. But even if physics work different, how can something in the physical universe happen without a cause? Okay, like, what was that sound? Where'd that sound come from? It must have no cause because we have no evidence that it has a cause. I mean, we don't even know where it's coming from. We have no evidence that this sound that kind of sounds like a banjo, we don't know that that has a cause. We have no evidence of that. I mean, for all we know, physics could be different in this time. Like, how can you seriously say that, yeah, cause and effect didn't happen because it was a long time ago and things were hot? What was the cause for physics being different back then? Oh, it was hot. So therefore, cause and effect. We have cause and effect. You just prove cause and effect still happened because physics was different because it was hot. And I don't even know how that's true. I highly doubt that's true. That's probably just like something he's making up with his retard brain. Oh yeah, I'm playing the banjo. Maybe we'll play a little bit later in the stream. Yo, he playing the banjo? But anyways, but it's like, bro, cause and effect is a property that is intertwined in the fabric of the universe. Okay? Everything that happens in the material world, in the material universe, has a cause. Even things that are like in the ether, they have a cause. There's nothing that you can find that doesn't have a cause. And you even just proved that cause and effect was real back then. Because they said, well, physics wasn't the same, and the reason for that is because it was hot. So you just read a reason in that. You read that there was a reason, there was a cause for physics being different. But cause and effect didn't happen. Like, I don't think these people understand that. Like, cause and effect isn't something that can just be stripped away from the universe. Like, you could strip away gravity from the universe, right? And the universe could still exist, theoretically, right? Like, matter would just go wherever. It wouldn't, like, you know, clump together in these orbs like it does. But, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it can exist without gravity. It can exist with a variety of different laws of physics not existing. But nothing can exist, even, I would have to say, in the universe without cause and effect, like, happening. Even if we, like, had a totally random universe, right? There would still be a cause and effect for things to happen. In order for things to exist, like, they need a cause and an effect to do anything.
We cannot simply conclude, well, obviously cause and effect still works. We don't know that. So
You just
we
said
can't
it
have
did.
The conclusion
You just
the
said it
Islam
did.
Wants us to have.
You just said
That's
that
kind
it
of
did.
a problem, but
like I don't
don't
get how
care about
people can
logic
say
and
this. I'll
reason,
just
then
talk
it's
over this
completely
guy and
not a
hopefully he
problem.
can hear me. Oh, he's going back to my video.
Just
Okay,
one
I'll just
video.
pause. But like, how can you say that something happens without a cause? For something to physically move, there has to be a cause for something to physically move. Like,
And I
bruh.
think it was from a guy named like Prophet of Zod or something stupid like that. And like he basically says, okay, but that only proves that the universe has a cause.
I don't
It has
understand
nothing
this,
to do
man.
with God. And so we have our good boy Noah here. And I'm gonna walk Noah through
Noah!
a
Noah!
little thought experiment, if you will. Are you ready, Noah?
I'm ready.
Noah, do you agree that all things that start have something that causes them to start?
Of course.
No, I don't. There you go. Just to be stubborn, I'm not going to agree with that. Now what? You know, I mean, who cares? Okay, anyways.
Only logical.
Do you agree that the universe started?
Yes.
If those two things are true, what would have caused the universe to start?
Well,
We don't know would be the answer to that. If there is indeed that, if indeed that statement is correct.
Who
But
cares
this is
if we
important.
don't know? I'm asking what could have caused it. Not what did, what could have caused it. If we can figure out what are the possible causes, what is the spectrum of possible causes for the universe? If we could find out what's the spectrum of possible causes, then we can find out, well, what did cause the universe? Once we have a framework of, a hypothesis, if you will, a hypothesis of what could have started the universe, then we have a starting off point to try to figure that out. I'm not asking what did. We obviously don't know, or we wouldn't be asking what could have. There wouldn't be a debate if we knew.
Course, all sorts of fallacies that
Whatever, who the fuck cares?
are not necessarily true of the entire universe. So there's multiple fallacies going on at once to make these comparisons.
Yes, I have so many
work.
logical
And
fallacies.
So the comparisons
So many logical
don't
fallacies.
work.
I'm a professor of logic, University of Science. Hit me
The
up.
universe isn't necessarily
Come at me, bitch.
the same as the component pieces that
Can we get a
observe
boxing
inside
match?
of the universe.
A
It's
boxing
it's
match with
more
Deconverted
complex
Man?
thing.
Can we get a boxing match with Deconverted Man? Would you guys like to see that? Boxing match with Deconverted Man?
Of course, we have the problem of what do you mean by universe? There's a
Do we
problem
want to see
there.
that? Do we want to see
So,
a boxing match with
If you
Deconverted
ignore
Man?
all of those
Put
fallacies,
one in chat.
because
Spam yes
why
in
not?
chat.
I guess you just should ignore the fallacies.
I'll
because
destroy him
if
in
you
a
don't,
boxing
then this
ring.
argument fails.
Sanctioned
Then,
by
well, what
whatever the
caused the
boxing
universe?
organization is, okay?
No idea.
I would never
would be the
assault him,
answer.
though.
But,
I would never,
let's
ever
hear what the
assault him.
answer.
Because that's against Christian morality. But we would have a sportful, fun game of boxing, I'll tell you that. Deconverted Man versus Nuisance is the new KSI versus
Be
Logan.
according to the
Everyone's saying
be-
yes one because I messed
there's
up.
a theory. Outcomes Razor. This theory basically says that the simplest answer is often the right one. The simplest answer in this case is that God.
Now watch what he's
created
gonna
the
say. He's gonna
But
say
what
some
okay,
BS.
so-
He's gonna. I'm not ready for what he's about to say.
Occam's reason? I think it's
No, listen to this. He nitpicks me for my clunky speaking, for my stumbling. Listen to what this man just says. Listen what this man is about to
the
say.
universe.
But what my
okay. So it's Occam's reason. I think it's
Occam's.
Occam?
Occam's razor. Occam's razor. That's why he just said Occam. He don't even know like this like basic like fact that like every retard that has watched like Vsauce knows, right? Like, what kind of atheist are you? You're supposed to know all these like retarded facts. There's supposed to be a substitute for your religion. Like, what is going on?
Occam's whatever. Whoever's razor it is. The simplest answer is the right one or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's not exactly what it is, but it's also not always true either. But is God really a simple answer, or is it a complex answer? Depends on who you ask. And I guess it would also depend on what God is or isn't. Is God simple or is it complex? I don't know. But you're just asserting here that it's a simple answer. The simplest answer here is
Are you enjoying
we don't
this retard
we
logic?
have no idea. That's actually the answer in this case. But, again, that would be using actual reason and logic, and we can't do that because we're trying to prove God, whatever God is, which we still haven't discussed what God even is in this video. So we're just using the word God, and we have no idea what God is.
Okay, so there's 2 points that I want to address there. So number one, okay, my first point that I want to address, I'm gonna list them out so I remember them, because I don't write things down. I don't write scripts. I'm not a cuck. I'm not a book cuck. I don't need a script. I do all my videos except the Juice Boy one off the top of my head completely. So listen, he makes 2 points here. He has 2 points of contention with my video. He says, number one, what is a God? What is God? What do you mean by that? And number two, he says, how is that the simplest answer? So what is a God? What is God? Now this is gonna be a big concept. It's gonna be a big concept. Something that is conscious, that is beyond the universe, that is powerful enough to create the universe. Okay? Or to more powerful than the universe. That is a definition of God that we're going with. Something that is conscious and more powerful than the universe. Okay? And thirdly is outside the universe. So I'm not talking about like Odin. I'm not talking about Thor. I'm not talking about Aphrodite. These do not fit the definition that I am talking about. I'm using the typical definition of the word God, the idea of a deity that every single person on earth thinks of when they think of the idea of a deity. Okay, is that cleared up for you, Mr. Deconverted Man? Now, number two, he says, how is this the simplest answer? How is this the simplest answer? So let's go through all of the possible answers that atheists have for this, okay? So the first answer that atheists will have, okay, is I'll look this up, okay? Why did the universe start? Why did the Big Bang happen? Let's just look. We'll just look at theories, like, right? We have some theories. I'll get you a little image here for you to look at, right? So we have the Big Bang here. What are atheist theories of what happened before the Big Bang? What happened here? What was going on? What was happening? What caused the Big Bang to happen? So this point right here, this is where the singularity is, right? You guys see my mouse, right? I hope you can see my mouse. Well, anyways, the point right there where all the big white light is, that's the singularity. This is when all the energy in the universe was compressed down to a really tiny point. Alright? And then that expanded out. So what could have caused that to happen? Now, people who don't believe in God, they propose many other answers. So one of the possible answers of why did the Big Bang happen is that the singularity was actually a black hole that absorbed the entire previous universe into itself. And then once the entire universe was absorbed into it, it then exploded out in the Big Bang. Another theory is that the previous universe, before this universe, collapsed in on itself. Then that universe expanded out. And I don't know, there's probably a bunch of other theories that you can come up with. But all of them have a problem with them, a significant problem, which is that there's just an infinite cycle that goes on forever, okay? Forever. It just goes infinitely back of just the universe going wah, 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 over and over again. It just keeps going like this over and over again, okay? And you have to traverse this infinite amount of time, okay? That goes back infinitely, okay? Even if you believe the singularity was the start of the universe, and it was always the singularity, all right? Unless the singularity just randomly popped into existence, which you would need a cause for that to happen, even if it would still need to traverse an infinite amount of backwards time to get to the point that we are now. How do you do that? How do you traverse an infinite amount of time? Like, imagine you have a line that's going in both directions forever. All right? How do you get to the beginning of that line? How do you get there? You can't. It just keeps going. It keeps going. It keeps going. So just as you can never get to the beginning of an infinite line, you also cannot get here. So that's essentially like saying that there is no time at all. Time does not exist. And this is something that we can barely comprehend. So I'm sorry if I am, I'm confusing you a little bit, because this is a little bit of a confusing topic, infinity and all these odd things like that. But you can't traverse an infinite amount of time. So you need all this convoluted BS to come to the conclusion that the Big Bang was not caused by God. And these are the other theories that people have. Now, the theory I have, all right, kind of fix my hair. The theory I have is that something conscious outside the universe made the universe. Not that we've have an infinite cycle of the universe expanding and collapsing over and over again. Not that the black hole ate another universe and then spits it back out and then eats the universe and then spits it back out again. No. My argument is that somebody made the universe. Somebody conscious made the universe. And that, to me, is a more simple answer, is a less convoluted, takes less jumps, less assumptions to get that answer. All right? So let's go back to the video.
Might say, well, why does that necessarily have to be the case?
The nature of what could start the universe, it would have to be something extremely powerful. A lot of...
How do you know that? How do you know it'd have to be extremely powerful? Why would it have to be extremely powerful? Why couldn't it be marginally powerful?
Chat, I think you have the answer to this. Do I have to go in on this? In order to lift a 200-pound rock, I would have to be strong enough to lift it. I would have to be powerful enough to lift the 200-pound rock. Does that, make sense to people? So if I was going to put enough force to make all the energy in the universe go out, like how the Big Bang, like how it says, they say it happened in the Big Bang, it all went out like that. In order for something to go like that, it needs to be so strong or so powerful that it can force the entire universe worth of energy to go and form from this tiny little dot into big, massive galaxies and, solar systems and planets and stars. How can you do that while only being marginally powerful? Could just a normal dude do that? No, you couldn't.
Where does it get the power from? And what do you mean by power?
What does that matter? It doesn't matter where it came from. That's not the question we're asking. We're asking what could have created the universe. It would have to be something powerful enough to make the universe move from one state of existence into another state of existence. Doesn't matter where the power came from. We just know it has to have power. Same with the car starting. We don't need to know why the car is starting, but we can make assumptions. We can understand there's a cause for the car starting, and we can kind of understand what type of things might cause a car to start. Like, you know, when the key turns, why is my hand moving? Oh, well, it probably is because you have like muscles that are contracting, right? Right? That would make sense. Like, you just like think. You use your brain, your big boy brain, and you think, well, what type of thing could cause the universe to move from the earliest state that we know of, which is this singularity, and move into this giant behemoth that we know now? Well, it would probably need to be really powerful. It would probably need to be conscious.
There's so many questions that he's just asserting as knowledge. He's just assuming that all of these things are true without demonstrating any of them true, making the answer not a simple answer.
Because I shouldn't have to explain it. My video was not made for an audience of retards. It was made for an audience of people who are like as smart as me, or at least, you know, within like a 20 IQ point range of my IQ. All right, so I'm making this for people with a 145 IQ greater or less. I'm not making it for you. I'm not making it for the 100 IQ midwit.
Answer, but a complicated one.
Of atheists think that it might have been another universe collapsing into itself.
And he's gonna say this. Listen to this.
A lot of atheists
listen to
think
this.
X.
Listen
Really,
to this
do you
joker.
have any
Listen to
data
this
that
joker.
shows that that's actually the case?
Somebody
No,
make an
of course
edit
not.
of his
It's just an
face with
easy
Joker
statement
makeup
to
on,
make.
please.
A lot of theists think
Please make an
X.
edit of his
How do
face
I know
with
that?
Joker
I
makeup
don't.
on.
I have no idea what
It
a
would be
lot of
so
theists
funny.
think, unless I have some sort of poll that has been conducted of many theists, like, I don't know, say 10,000 would be a good number, and says, okay, 98% of theists agree with
Who
whatever.
cares?
We don't know. They're being made by cosmologists who might be religious. So what we would want then is a list of cosmologists and to
I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna skip this because we're already at the hour mark. Let's get to the next point.
without arguing for it, without anything. You just said that it was true. So that, I would say,
Where how long does he take? It's not my fault that this is 1 hour long, okay? This guy just like spent 22 minutes, okay? And every 5 seconds he says another retarded thing that needs to be made fun of, okay? I'm sorry that this is taking so long, chat. I didn't mean to, okay? Okay, he finally made it to the second point.
Genesis is extremely complex. A lot of it, even when I need to and find and what on it.
Who cares? Okay, great. Stop talking.
Of how
I want to hear myself talk.
Number one, the whole concept of how life started, it wouldn't happen. Atheists believe that for the first couple billion years of Earth's existence, random chemicals were floating in the ocean, just randomly bumping into each other. And then
Atheists believe. Really? We do? Who said that? Did you poll atheists to find out what we believe?
If you don't believe God is real, okay, let's use our brains again. I know you start to use your brain when we were talking about turning the key on the car and what caused the engine to start. So let's use our brains again. We'll use the same kind of reasoning in Deconverted Man. So, if you don't believe there's a God, okay, and you don't believe we were created by a God, okay, how did we get created then? What would have had to happen? What would have happened? to cause that to happen. Christians believe that Jesus Christ came back from the dead. Do you have any data on that? So true. So true. That's literally what he just said. It's like, if I believe in a God, what's the likelihood that I believe that that God created us? If I believe in Jesus Christ, what likelihood do I believe that he rose from the dead? If I believe there is no God, and I believe that we live in a dead universe, okay, a universe void of meaning, what caused the universe, what caused the universe to come into existence? What caused life to come into existence? Let's think about that one. Let's use our big boy brains. Maybe, like, perhaps cells evolved into the thing that we are now. I mean, like, there's this theory of evolution by this guy named Darwin that most people in the world know about this theory of evolution, how creatures will adapt to the areas that they live in, right? Well, maybe we all evolved from, like, one common ancestor or something. Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe the widely accepted theory in schools of abiogenesis that is taught to all American children. Maybe that's what most atheists are going to believe. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Mr. Bones the third says, cringe atheism is solapism at its purest. Herder, what do you mean by is? Do you have a Snopes citation for those observable facts? Literally so Trudeau. Why do I need a citation for something that every atheist on YouTube spouts? Why? Why do I need a citation for what Christians believe? Deconverted Man is the worst antagonist to appear in the Nui San series. I hope there will be stronger opponents in the next season. We will be having some stronger opponents coming up. I'll give you guys a little treat. I'll shill for two things, okay? Number one, if you're liking the stream, share it with a friend. Number two, okay, my Unfriendly Hood video, if you guys are on my channel, Unfriendly Hood, I made a video about Kyle Rittenhouse, and that got taken down for bullying and harassment, and it gave me a community guideline strike. So if you look in the description of this video, I have a link to a new channel called Nui Sans, where I will be hosting all of the Sunday school videos for now on. And so if you just click on the link, it says new channel with parentheses, with the Jewish parentheses around it. So if you click on that link, you'll be taken to a new channel. You guys should all subscribe to that if you can. But finally, you say what's the next antagonist going to be on the Nui San series? So I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you a sneak peek. Why is this not? Is the link broken? I don't know why. The link might be broken or something. All right. Well, anyways, the very next enemy that we'll be having on the Nui San series is going to be a member of the Dream SMP. We are somebody who is fond of sexualizing children. So now I'm not saying they're a pedophile, this person. When the video comes out, I'm not saying they're a pedophile. But I am saying that there is a Dream SMP member that is fine with sexualizing children. They're not a Dream SMP member either, but they are in the Dream SMP community. You'll see them on, Minecraft Championships. You'll see them on Minecraft Mondays, stuff like that. And nobody's calling them out about that. So that'll be the next video coming out sometime soon. I don't know when that will be coming out. So yeah, subscribe for that. Subscribe to the new channel that I have. It's called New Sans. So yeah, let's keep watching this idiot, this absolute moron. Hope you're enjoying.
Or is this just another empty assertion? I think it's an empty assertion.
Okay, great. You already made your point.
Chemicals bumped into each other, and it turned into like DNA. And then eventually DNA formed a cell. And then eventually the single cell
Well, RNA was first, but whatever.
organism turned somehow into a multicellular organism that had.
I know, it's somehow because you haven't bothered to learn it. I understand that. You don't understand it. I get it.
But watch how he is not going to explain how a single-celled organism. I'm just gonna clarify why I'm saying that this is so bizarre and weird, okay? So, for those of you that haven't taken a biology class, okay? Single-celled organism, okay, ones that are one cells, they're one of the first organisms to come into existence. I'd say probably first viruses, and then secondarily single-celled bacteria cells, right? They're the second cell to come into existence. Prokaryote cells, if you will. All right? And the way that they reproduce is they will get big and then they split into an exact genetic and I forget what the other words, like they literally clone themselves, right? They make a genetic clone of themselves, okay? This is how they reproduce. Now what I'm saying, why I think it's so odd is that how can something that reproduces by making genetic clones of itself turn into a multicellular organism that reproduces by having sex with another multicellular organism to evolve? How does that happen? I don't understand that. Maybe you guys can make sense of it to me. But how? How does two cells, a cell that splits into exact copies, evolve at all? How does it evolve at all? How can it evolve? The only thing that might happen is like maybe radiation changes its DNA, but you really think that it's going to change it in the exact way that it makes a multicellular organism in 1 billion years? Because this is something that shocked me, right? When did life start? When did life start on Earth? Let's just look that up. Okay, 3.5 billion years ago. So within 3 billion years, okay, that's when the very first cells came around, right? The very first viruses and cells. Okay. Within 3 billion years, that those cells had the right radiation hit them to knock out the right genes or add the right genes to make them turn into multicellular organisms that have sex. Like, I'm saying, like, you can't even like slowly evolve from one cell into a multicellular organism that has sex. You have to immediately turn from one cell into a multicellular organism that has sex, is what I'm saying. And I'm saying that's a problem. Like, how? How? Does anyone else, like, somebody please help me. Please help me understand. You know, I'm just so stupid. I don't get it. I'm not a blind sheep. I just don't understand.
But that doesn't make it false. It's clear that you don't understand it, but that doesn't falsify it.
Had sex, and then this multicellular organism then evolved into all these different animals and eventually into humans, and did this all within 4 billion years of the Earth existing. But
oh yeah, and just so you know, like actual like multicellular organisms that are like animals and stuff only came around like 500, 600, 700 million years ago, okay? So just so you know, they're saying that the time span of evolution, right? And I'm probably giving them too high of a number. But the time span of evolution happening, okay, It only happened over the course of 700 million years, okay? And humans came about 1 million years ago, I believe is the number. I believe that's the number or something like that. Maybe I don't know. When did humans come around? Humans first appear. Oh, even less. The modern Homo sapiens evolved 200,000 years ago. So humans only came around 200,000 years ago. Let me just make sure you guys see that. I'm not making up that number. Homo sapiens, so the first primitive Homo sapiens appeared 300,000 years ago in Africa with brains as large as ours or larger. They were followed by anatomically modern Homo sapiens at least 200,000 years ago. Brain shape became essentially modern by at least 100,000 years ago. So in the theory of evolution, the theory of how humans got to where they are now, okay, they only came about 100,000 years ago. So do you really believe that, like, that's do you really believe they evolved in that short of amount of time? That quickly? And what does that say about the future? That humanity is just going to disappear in another 100,000 years? It won't even exist, right? So, like, who even cares? Like, number one, that's just extremely nihilistic and awful to think about. That humanity is essentially just a flash in the pan that is not even going to go extinct, but in 100,000 years from now, it's just going to be so disgustingly, horrifyingly different from the form that it takes now that we will not recognize it, and it probably won't even be conscious by that point. Multicellular organisms can have sex. Now, if only YouTube skeptics could figure out how. So true. So based. So let's keep watching the idiot. Let's keep watching the idiot. We gotta hear. Maybe he'll help us out.
Probably less. To me, it just doesn't make sense. Even if you
it's gotta be false. It just doesn't make sense to you.
If it doesn't make sense, okay. No, we're gonna keep watching it. We're gonna keep watching it. Let him make his point. Anything that doesn't make sense to you. I'm not trying to be him.
It's gotta be false. It just doesn't make sense to me. Your video doesn't make sense to me. Must be false. Doesn't make sense to me. You know, it's gotta be false. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Listen to what he's about to say here.
Your video doesn't make sense to me. Must be false.
That's literally the whole premise of his video, is that my video doesn't make sense to him, therefore it's false. That is how logical reasoning works. If something does not conform to logical reasoning, then it is very likely, in fact, I would say 100% of the time, is false, because we live in a logical universe with consistent laws of physics, which means that you can, as long as you have enough data, you can deduce to a very accurate degree what caused an event to happen. Okay? So, if the model of how people say we came into existence, how we evolved, okay, and how these chemicals became life, okay, if their model for how that happened does not make sense, okay, if it makes no sense, if it is totally illogical, then it's probably something we should write off, right? Isn't that what you say about creationism? That it's illogical and therefore we should write it off? Like, bruh.
Wow. Just really... I mean, the appeal to personal incredulity, just repeated. That's all this is. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me, therefore it's not true. That's all this is.
if it doesn't make sense by an objective standard, I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense to me. I'm making the claim that in like an objective standard, like, all right, if you were to pool people and explain to them this, all right, the way that I've just explained it, which I would say is very accurate, I've just provided proof that it's accurate, and I've even given you like the benefit of the doubt and said that, you know, like multicellular animals that we would kind of recognize as animals came about 700 million years ago. I would say that most people would like think that is totally illogical, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that like by an objective standard, it does not make sense. Not by my own subjective standard, but by an objective standard, or at least more objective than just my own standard.
That's the fallacy you have performed several times. That it doesn't make sense to you is completely and wholly irrelevant.
And I'm not even saying that. That's not even my actual point, though. I'm just saying that as, like, hyperbole. He's probably autistic, that's why. But he doesn't understand what hyperbole is, right? Like, this is hyperbole. When I say, it doesn't exactly make sense to me. I don't know. What about you? The reason I'm saying that is not because that's my argument. My argument, the point of me saying that is so that the people that are watching the video, you guys, okay, and all the 190 other people that watch that video will think to themselves, you know what, you're right, Nuisance. This doesn't exactly add up. The math does not equal out what they are arguing for. Mr. Orange Horseman says, before or after you read the debate I had with him, you should read the absurd challenge that he issued you. Oh, he issues it in the video. But we'll get to that soon. I don't want to spoil it.
Like double the amount of time, triple the amount of time, it would make it more plausible. But you still have this problem that immaterial chemicals become a living being. I don't understand the logistics of how random chemicals just all happen to meet up in the same place to make a bacteria cell.
It didn't happen like that, first of all. It's a very slow process. But yeah, we all understand that you don't understand it. What you don't seem to understand is that doesn't falsify that that's what happened.
Logically is something that would not happen. Abiogenesis, this idea that living things can come from non-living things, it simply is not true. And on top of that, even if it...
but it is true.
It's... you have no evidence of that. You don't have evidence of that. And again, this is called hyperbole. I know you're autistic from the awful, horrible videos that you make. I know why you have 2,000 subscribers but no viewers watching you is because you make bad content. And it's probably because you have, like, autism or something, man.
Okay.
Or, like, some kind of mental disability.
Okay.
Did happen. The fact that it could make all these leaps from one cell to becoming a multicellular organism that has sex, then evolving into humans, it's just an impossibility. The only solution...
Wasabi, I don't know what your point is there. You said something that is probabilistically impossible is true because we are here. Therefore, it happened. Now, I don't know exactly what you're trying to say, but if you're trying to say that it is true because we see that we're here, how is no, that's not how it works. Because I can use that same argument. Sure, it's improbable that God's real, but I mean we're here, so therefore God must be real. In fact, I would even say that would be a great argument if that was true. Then that would be a great argument for the Big Bang. It's improbable, but we see the Big Bang happen, therefore it has a cause. That, in fact, you know what? That is a good argument when you apply it to the Big Bang. We know that cause and effect happens because the Big Bang happened. Therefore, we know cause and effect was still in effect when the Big Bang happened because the Big Bang happened. And for anything to happen in our universe, there needs to be a cause. His argument is absurd. What I'm saying is that the conclusion justifies the premises, not vice versa. I guess what you're saying. If you had evidence that happened seriously, okay, maybe, but I really don't think that that's true.
Conclusion that you can make for this is that there's some kind of aliens that are like controlling us. And in which case, where did the aliens come from?
What? What? That is a non sequitur of extraordinary.
I'm gonna boy. Can we go to the next point, please?
Come on.
Comes from.
Then learn it. Let's evolution.
Shut up.
I think one of the
Sense.
proofs of God being real comes from biology, specifically the Cambrian explosion.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Fix the camera.
How wrong is he going? Okay, taking all bets now. How
you're telling
wrong
me
is
to
he going
switch
to
it.
be
I was
on
going
everything
to.
to do with the Cambrian explosion? All right. So before he gets going, so here's the thing: Cambrian explosion. So what really is happening is in the fossil
what
record,
stupid thing is he going to say? What stupid thing do we think that our boy Deconverted Man is going to say? Let's hear him out. Let's hear out this retarded, dumb, stupid argument that he's going to make.
certain things don't fossilize. Many creatures don't. Many substances don't fossilize. So before creatures
The
had
pure retardation exuded by this video is truly incomprehensible. So true. So true. Like, I was literally just rolling, okay? The reason what I was, as soon as I saw this, I was like, I need to stream snipe this guy. I need to get on my camera right now, turn on OBS and stream snipe this guy. But I couldn't because I was doing some stuff for my grandparents. I was at my grandparents' house. I was being a good little grandson at my grandparents' house. And I was helping them out with some stuff because they're real old, they're real elderly. And anyways, but I was just like listening to this with my earbuds in, right? And I'm just like rolling. I'm rolling. My grandparents are looking at me like, "There's something wrong with that boy. There's something wrong with that boy." Bruh, dude, like it's so bad. Like I don't know how. I don't know how. I don't know how. How can you be like this? How, like, what I really think this is, and what I think is the problem with all atheists, is they don't actually, is that they didn't form their premises of the universe by looking at the universe to form their premises, okay? They didn't come to the conclusion of atheism because the universe points to atheism being the case. But instead, I think that most atheists came to the conclusion of atheism first because they just want that to be true. And then afterwards, look for any possible way for that premise to be true. And so what I think the whole problem of this video is, the reason why it is so stupid is because rather than actually listening to the arguments and actually coming up with a serious point of contention with these arguments, a serious debunking of my video, I mean, he says that I did not prove God, and he doesn't actually give any proof that I did not prove God is real. Like, all he does is he just looks for any little thing in my argument to the point that he'll even make up things so that he can maintain the premise that he is right. But there is no evidence that he is right. Instead, he first comes with a conclusion. Instead of innocent until proven guilty, it's guilty until proven innocent. God is not real, and I'm going to find any evidence to prove that this is the case. For me, I would say I was the opposite in my coming to Christianity. I was raised a Catholic. Okay, my grandparents, who I was visiting when I was watching this video, they're Catholics. They're very devout Catholics, I'd say. They have a priest visit them every now and then because they're too old to go to church, you know. But you know, they're real devout Catholics, right? But I don't know. By the time that I was like in middle school, right, I was real edgy, and I was like, this God stuff's gay. It's retarded. I don't believe this stuff, man. This ain't real, right? And I'd say a lot of the reason that I came to that conclusion is because I started watching people like Deconverted Man, not Deconverted Man, because I don't think I've ever heard of this guy. I'm pretty sure he botted all of his subscribers and they're not real. But I watched people like The Amazing Atheist, TJ Kirk. I watched Armored Skeptic. I was a huge fan of Armored Skeptic, huge fan of TJ Kirk and all the other skeptics, Thunderfoot. And I watched them, and because they had entertaining videos, I therefore convinced myself that these entertaining people must be correct, right? And so, now, was I really an atheist? I don't think I really was, because as soon as something bad happened, you best believe that I was going, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses. I was immediately, praying to God as soon as anything bad happened to me. But as soon as the bad time passed, I pretend that I'm atheist again. And I'm sure Deconverted Man's the same way. I'm sure all of you atheists are the same way. As soon as you get in a car crash, your car's flipping, you're praying to God, I'm sure. But anyways, living this lifestyle, like just doing whatever you want, this libertarian lifestyle, that led me into serious, like awful depression. I can tell that Deconverted Man is exactly the same way that I was, except he's what would have happened to me 30 years from now had I stayed as an atheist or pagan or whatever I was, right? And had I stayed there, I would be a totally depressed Coomer freak, 500 pounds. I'd be making fun of 18-year-olds on the internet, right? But instead, I realize, bad things are going on in my life, right? So I was like, well, maybe I'm just wrong on my premises, right? Bad things are going on in my life. Let me reobserve my life. Let me go on like a journey of like finding myself and trying to understand the truth of the universe. And so I seriously went out and I was like looking, just trying to absorb like, what is our point of being here? Why does everything exist the way it does? Why is it that I am a conscious being? Why can I experience things? Why do I experience things? Why am I conscious? Why can I collect memories? Why am I aware? Like these were questions that would keep me up at night, and I seriously tried to figure that out. And after seriously looking at the evidence, I came to the conclusion that there has to be a God, probably is the Christian God, right? Because that's like the only God that fits the thing that I was coming to the conclusion to. And I looked into Christianity, and eventually I gave my life to Christ. Wasabi says, to choose a lifestyle of hedonism is to be stuck on the hamster wheel. Once you stop chasing pleasure, you suffer. And so you chase new highs as your dopamine dulls. Hedonism is essentially mistaking entertainment for joy. Hedonism is real joy, all right, comes from when you're following God. And the reason why it comes from when you're following God, it's not because, I think it is something to do with God's supernatural power or whatever. But it's not just that. It's that the Christian lifestyle, okay, and walking in the Spirit, as it says in the Bible, following the commandments of God, listening to the Proverbs. When you are living by the example of Jesus, you are living the way you are designed to live. So you will have total fulfillment with your life. And for the most part, when I'm actually walking in the Spirit, when I'm not in sin or anything, I'd say I have fulfillment with my life, right? But when you're seriously walking in the Spirit, you're living the way that you were designed as a person to live. Okay? You are designed to get pleasure out of living the way that Jesus Christ tells you to live. So you'll have serious joy. But when you don't know that, when you don't understand these things, and you live hedonistically, that's essentially just saying, entertainment, taking my mind off of the world, is what joy is. Temporary laughter from watching a funny Nui-san stream, that is what joy is. And that's not what joy is. Joy is much deeper than that. Joy is forever. Well, I don't know if it's forever, but you get what I'm saying.
Had bones that would fossilize?
Do we really want to watch this guy's argument? I want to get to the fourth point, right?
Explosion. Wasn't a
I don't care if he's a poe. Like how,
yeah. I was in the stream chat while I was
just
doing
like
this.
it doesn't make sense. It has to be this.
No, who cares? I don't care. Can we just get to the next argument?
There you go. I mean, yeah.
Great. Yeah. Who cares? I don't care. Here we go. Okay. The next argument.
Proving God.
Point that they call
say you slap.
the creation myth.
That
What?
brings us into our fourth point. We will never make a robot that can actually feel. We can try, but
What?
the most we can make is a robot that, let's say you slap it, it won't actually feel that pain. All it will be is just a sensor going off and then it triggering a response.
What?
He didn't understand that. This is how stupid this guy is. The virgin deconverted man's argument versus the Chad I don't care. Literally true to. I don't know. Maybe you guys wanted to see that, but I this is already we're at 1 hour and 38 minutes into this stream. Okay. Do we really do you really think that he has debunked my Cambrian explosion argument? Do you really believe that? Because I watched the stream, I don't think he did, and I don't think anyone even has an inkling of a doubt that he didn't, okay? I think everyone knows that he didn't disprove it, and I don't even have to watch it, just because every other argument has led us to that conclusion.
Wait, what? What does this have to do with anything? Even
This guy, and this guy's this guy's argument that he's about to make right now, I'll let him
if
say
it is true, how do you know that that's the case?
How do we know that it's the case that we can't make a robot that can feel? In my argument, there is no argument that can debunk Christianity because I personally have experienced proof that it is true. But that's not going to convince any atheist. Me too. Even if you could find some very rigorous scientific study that God's not real or something, at that point I'm just going to believe that science is not real at all, because God has literally spoken to me, and I have prayed to God for him to heal my grandfather from kidney failure, and the very next day my grandfather is healed. And then I fell into sin the day or two later, and he suddenly had kidney failure again. And then I repented and I said, never again, God, and suddenly he's healed again. Isn't that weird? That's odd. Now I know that's anecdotal evidence. That's anecdotal evidence. I know. We can't use anecdotes. They're not real evidence. A demon crawling out of my ceiling, that's not real evidence. God speaking to me, that's not real evidence, man. The fact that every time that I seriously, humbly ask God for something, it is always delivered to me because God is a good father, a good king. That's not real evidence, is it? That my dog runs away. My dad cannot find my dog. I pray to God, please help me find my dog, Lord, please. And I walk outside. I take a couple steps back. My dog runs right up to me. Oh, dude, yeah. God's not real, man. God's not real. Hey, yo, God's not real, man. Yo, man, God's not real.
how do you know that we will never do this? How could you ever make such a statement? Really, no, answer the question. What does this have to do with anything? This is the biggest non sequitur I've ever heard. What the bleep? I have to talk about robots now? Okay, why not? Alright. Did you know that we have made...
Yeah, just a coincidence, Orange Horseman. When your back pain suddenly disappears because you pray to this made-up entity, and your back pain just leaves, yeah, that's just random coincidence. That's not real. There's no power named Jesus Christ. God doesn't exist. Yeah, it's all coincidences. You know, this is something that I say, that this is my new colloquialism. You might have heard it if you watch my Sunday school streams. How many coincidences have to happen that point to a conclusion before you can say that conclusion is real? Like, my question to atheists is, right, do I have to provide 100% evidence for a claim being real? Okay, if I have like millions of coincidences that all point to like the Earth going around the sun, right? And we haven't actually seen the Earth go around the sun, right? Let's just say we're in ancient Greek times, okay? But there's a lot of evidence, right, that points to that. How many little coincidences have to happen before we say, you know, yeah, the Earth is revolving around the sun? How many? How much? Did the ancient Greeks not prove that when they had two different people stand at two different cities and waited for the sun to rise, and the sun rose at two different times for them? Was that not proof that we are or I don't know, whatever. Anyways, I think it was that the Earth is not flat. Whatever. I'm forgetting these stories that I learned in middle school. But still, you get what I'm saying. Like, they prove that the Earth is round or whatever, right? I forget the story, but you guys get what I'm saying. Did they not prove the Earth was round when they saw that the sun rose at two different points? Do they have to go into space to prove that? Like, I don't think so. But in the atheist mind, you have to go up into space and look at the Earth and see it being round and take pictures of it before you can prove that the Earth is round. Standing at two different locations and seeing that the sun rises at two different times is not proof that the Earth is round. It's not good enough proof. They proved that the Earth went around the sun. I don't know. I don't exactly remember it. It was one or the other. I don't know. Something like that.
Cellular, programmable, biological, what we're calling robots. No? You didn't know that? Yeah. They've taken cells and they've modified them.
So we've been interrupting this guy the whole time. I'm gonna skip past this a little bit. But his argument that he's making right here, right? This is what it is. This is what his argument is, right? So me and Noah, we said that you cannot make a machine that physically feels something, okay? And what I mean by that, okay, this is what I mean, because I don't think that this guy understands what I'm saying. This is for you guys, okay? I want you guys to think about this. What's up, Earthside? Anyways, so Earthside Asia and all of the rest of you, think about this, right? You physically feel something when you touch something. If I touch my keyboard, my dirty, greasy keyboard, if I touch this, I'm feeling it, okay? If I go, I physically felt that. All right, if I go and I rip off all of my skin, I physically feel myself ripping off all of my skin. If I were to punch myself in the mouth, I would feel that. How? Why can we feel things? Why do we experience the world? Okay, this is the point that I'm trying to make in this, okay? Is that, like, I our boy Moores, who I've talked about before, we had an argument about this too. This was right around when the video was coming out. I understand that there's a mechanism that you have a brain made out of nerves, and then the nerves go into all these nerve endings, and then you can touch something, and then it sends an electrical signal or whatever. Okay, I understand that. I understand the Nuisance be like, I think I will rip off my own skin today. I'll go Joker mode. You know, there's a Batman comic where the Joker cuts off his own face, right? He's just like the schizo troll face. So true, I am. I was proven to be a schizophrenic on my second channel, Unfriendlyhood. And by the way, I have a third channel now called Nuisance. The link is in my description of this live stream. But anyways, it's like, I understand there's a mechanism that you can feel things. I understand how the mechanism works, but I'm saying, why do you experience sensation? Why do you experience life? You know, like, why do you experience things? Like, this is a type of question that should keep you up at night. The fact that you are alive, okay? And when I say that you're alive, that you're not just like, you know, moving around and doing things, okay, and that you have a machine in here, you have a computer in your skull that is deciding things, that is logically looking at the world and doing things, but you physically experiencing. If I slap my leg right now, if I go, I physically feel that. And my point is that you cannot make an AI robot that can physically experience the world. This is an impossible feat. You cannot make a robot that can feel things. Which means there is something special about the living things on Earth. We have something more to us. We're not just a machine. Like, atheists say that our brain is nothing more than just a organic computer, right? Why is it that we can't make an actual computer that experiences the world? Why is that an impossible feat to do? All right, and this guy's going to say, how do you know that, probably? In fact, I know that he says, how do you know that? But seriously, okay, if you actually know something about computers, and I know a little bit about computers, I took computer science in high school, you cannot make an AI, you cannot make a computer that can physically experience the world or even have consciousness. How do we have consciousness? This is when you realize how great God is and how beautiful life is, man. God's creation. You are alive. You're not a machine. You're alive. So somebody asked who Deconverted Man is. I'm just gonna sum it up in 3 seconds. I'm gonna zoom in right here, okay? Oh gosh, I zoomed in too far. Gosh, no. Okay, we won't zoom in. I want you to read that number right there, Earthside Asia. And then I want you to read this number right here. 253,080. Streamed 1 day ago. 16 likes. That's all you need to know basically about this guy. Oh, I wasn't even showing this. 253,000 subscribers. 80 views, 16 likes, uploaded 1 day ago. So I think that's about all you need to know about Deconverted Man. Okay? So, yeah.
And they are pain receptors, then...
By the way, so his refutation to my argument is that we've reprogrammed cells, DNAs, in order to perform, like, functions, like basic functions, like pushing stuff. That still doesn't disprove what I'm saying, because all that's saying is that you can take a living thing that is already alive and mess with its brain and take away its consciousness. Like, okay, great. Wow, you can lobotomize a human. Wow. You can edit a cell. Wow. You didn't give it life. You cannot create life except through sex. We cannot create life.
And if you hit it, it would feel the same sort of pain that other animals feel, including us. Could you do it by pure non-living materials? I have no idea.
No, you can't. You cannot make an artificial intelligence that can understand the world the same way that a human being or a dog or a bee, a bumblebee, or a tree even can experience the world. A tree will always have more consciousness, more of a soul, if you will, than a AI will. It will always be more conscious, more alive than a robot will be. If you do not understand why that is, just you need to like look up like some Khan Academy video about how computers work, or some Kurt Sagat video about how computers work, or something.
I don't know. But if it simulates pain to itself and it thinks that it's pain, then it's pain.
No, I'm not saying that you can't make a computer that simulates pain. I'm not saying you can't make a computer that simulates that, okay? I'm saying that you cannot make a computer that does feel pain. I don't know, is this making sense to everyone that's watching? You can make an AI that when somebody goes like that, it will respond as though it felt pain. What I'm saying, though, is that you cannot make a computer that when this happens, feels that happening. This is impossible. And what I'm saying is that is proof that you have a soul. And I don't know, maybe that's esoteric. I hope that you guys understand what I mean by that when I say this is proof that you have a soul. But you are not a computer. A computer will never experience that.
But now we've gone so far off into the deep end, I don't even know where we are anymore. So we can't do AI, therefore God, I guess is the argument here. It's not even an argument. I don't even know what it is. Help me! Somebody help me! Let's go back to the video. We're almost done. Oh, man.
See, like, atheists say that we're just this organic machine, that we're essentially a
What atheists say that? But yeah, we are kind of just an organic machine, so...
What atheists say that?
Yes, now I have said
it. We already covered this.
But you didn't know that.
I'm a
deterministic robot that's operating off of, code. But we're obviously much more than just a machine.
Hey,
I think the most obvious
I'm not
proof
showing it.
that
No.
there is a supernatural world is the fact that you feel things. If I go and I pinch...
Wait a minute. Okay. Here we go with the counter example now. Oh, yeah.
He's got a counter example. Now, this is going to be the most retarded argument that you've ever heard, okay? And I know because I watched it that this is going to be one of the most stupid, retarded, dumb, pee-pee-poo-poo brain argument that you're ever going to hear.
Okay, so the fact that you feel pain or anything is proof of God. Okay, sure.
No, I didn't say it was proof of God. I think that I said it was proof of a spiritual world. Now, I do think that if there is a spiritual world, you can easily come to the conclusion that there is a God. But no, my argument is just that there is proof that there is something beyond matter. You don't even have to call it a spiritual world. You don't have to call it spiritual. You can call it whatever, robotically clean, like sickeningly clean, sterile word you want it to be. Whatever book cuck word you want it to be. But at the end of the day, there is something beyond the real world. There is an ethereal. There's the real world, and then beyond the real world, there is an ethereal world. And that overlaps with the real world. That is what I'm saying.
Alright, I'll grant that. Why not? So, what do you do with this then? Here, let me bring this up here. So, congenital insensitivity to pain is a rare disorder. It's very rare and extremely dangerous. People with it can't feel pain. So, so I guess that proves there isn't a God then, because there are some people who can't feel things. So, checkmate. There
Wow.
you go. Found your counter example.
Wow, dude.
Anyway.
He disproved me. He disproved me. He disproved me. Oh, gosh. Oh, no. My whole argument has gone up in shambles. Ah. Oh, no, dude. Oh, gosh, dude. I'm totally in shambles. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh, dude. I'm totally in shambles. So because there's some people that cannot feel pain, okay? Therefore, because some people cannot feel pain, those people that cannot feel pain are equivalent to a robot. Okay. So I guess human life is not valuable after all, and there's no reason for morality. That... Or you have to say that the fucking Amazon Alexa is on the same level as a human being and deserves the same rights as a human being. You have to, if you're really gonna make that argument, you have to come to two conclusions here. Okay, either one, those people are totally valueless because they are not human. And I'm not making this argument. I don't think that this even matters that they can't feel pain. They still experience the world. They're still a human being. Okay. Oh, well, they can't feel pain. Gee whiz. But still, if you really want to say that that's a debunking of my argument, okay, if that really is a debunking of my argument that there is no ethereal world, then you have to say one of two statements. First statement is that those people are totally worthless because they are not humans. They are just AIs, essentially. They are actually organic machines. Or number two, you have to give Amazon Alexa the same rights as a human because essentially she's no different to us. Maybe she's a little bit dumber, but she's no different. She's a machine just like us. She's conscious. She's aware of the world around her. I don't think I need to explain why that's wrong. I think everyone understands that Amazon Alexa is not alive. Okay, and that's all I need to say. Cleverbot is not alive. Just because it can react to something you type on the keyboard doesn't mean that it's alive. Okay, because it doesn't actually experience anything. The human, even if they don't have pain receptors for whatever reason, they have some horrible illness, right? They're still alive, and I know they still experience the world because they're a human, and 99% of humans experience things physically. They're conscious.
Whatever.
My hand right here. I'm physically feeling this pain. I'm not getting a message in my head saying sensor 999 in hand organ has been harmed. No, I am.
Well, that's you are getting. Your brain does receive it in that way.
This guy
but
just
your conscious
keeps saying
mind
stupid
doesn't.
stuff. Listen to this. Listen to this, man.
You're not aware of all the internal
This is so bad.
processes going on.
This is so bad.
You don't know about all your white blood cells and what they're doing and all that. It's just too much to keep track of. Your brain doesn't need to know all that. There's a biological.
So he's saying that we are. This doesn't make sense at all. Just to me, and I know that's not a valid argument. That doesn't make sense. What cat? Yes, cat. Yeah, run away. You're meowing at me. I try to pet you and you run away. That's why I hate cats. They're worthless, dude. I know. You want to go out. Okay, go. Leave. Never come back. I hate you. I
hate you, cat. Never come back.
Alright, back to what I was saying though. Jeez, it's so weird when you take off your headphones and suddenly actually hear myself. They're like crappy skull candy headphones too, but I can barely hear anything when I have them on. Yeah, cats are cringe, so true. Like they're cute and they're kind of fummy sometimes, but like that's it. That's all that they get from me. That's all they get from me, man. Like I don't know, I don't get the appeal. So what was I saying? So anyway, point being though, I actually forget what we were talking about. What did he even say? I literally forget what he said. What did he say?
Whole reason we're not aware of that.
Oh, that basically that feeling is a simplification of this signal going off. All right, and then like this is processed as just feeling pain instead of getting sensor 999 go off. Number one, that I don't think that's exactly true. I don't think our brain works like that. We do not function like a machine. But number two, like, even if that was a simplification of something that is similar to a robot, right? We're still experiencing pain. And as I have already said, you cannot make a robot experience pain, and I've already explained why to the best of my ability with my limited vocabulary to explain this thing, because I'm not like a certified computer coder. I don't exactly understand everything about computers, but I've already explained why a computer cannot feel. Even if our pain and our sensation was a simplification of something that was similar to a AI's thought pattern or whatever, again, the robot still can't feel. The robot still doesn't process that as feeling. That would still mean that we have some ethereal world overlapping with ours. We have some kind of spiritual world that's connecting in.
But you know what is interesting? Pinch your toe and your finger at the same time, and you will feel it at the same time.
Now he's making some stupid point about like how you can feel two different things at the same time. I don't care. Let's keep watching.
You feel those things because you need to navigate the real world. Fuck it.
A machine, you are more than just matter. You have some kind of greater thing that has been infused into the
Do you guys like
matter.
the Matrix music? You can barely
great.
hear it. I put Matrix music on during that segment.
Your thing infused into the matter, huh? But you're talking about nerve cells, which is still physical.
Again, so this is the point that I keep coming back to. And you guys tell me if I'm beating a dead horse with this, but I understand the mechanism by which I feel things, okay? I understand how that mechanism works. What I'm trying to get to the point at is, why do we experience that? Why do you experience something? Why is this formed to you as something you physically feel? Why? Why? Okay, like this is the point that I'm trying to get to. This is like 100% proof of God. If you seriously if you're not being an idiot, right? Like maybe there's just people that are like too stupid to get this, right? But if I punch myself right now, I feel that. If you did that right now, if you punch yourself in the knee like I just did, you'll feel it.
Cole, at no point do we need to invoke anything other than
Why do you feel stuff? These are questions that keep me up at night. Okay? Why do we feel? Why do we exist in a world? Why can we experience the world? I can't tell you like a better answer other than we just have a soul.
It can only get worse from here.
something almost akin to a soul. And that soul is
Whatever.
what feels the matter. We will never be able to make an AI that can be human or
You don't know
even
that?
close to a human, because a
Hey, what's that
robot
proof?
will
What?
never be able to feel.
How do you know
But that brings us on to our final
Wait, how does
point.
that
Before
prove
me and
any-
Noah explain this point, I think it's important to establish, although your average
Wouldn't it be better to have the argument the other way around? Like, we could make a robot that can feel, and therefore there must be, if we can do that, right? We'll
Okay, yeah, that would be a good argument if that was true. But my point is that that's not true. We cannot create a robot that can feel. Now, if we cannot do it with our own hands, we have conscious intent. We're conscious. I think everyone understands that. Deconverted Man, you understand that we're conscious, okay? So we're conscious. We can actively choose to do things. All right. Even if we had extreme technical ability, which I don't think we're even at to try to attempt to make like a human-like robot, but even if we were and we could create a robot that simulates humanity, you cannot make that robot physically feel something, okay? It cannot feel. You cannot make that robot. All right? With conscious intent, you cannot make that robot feel. I said we can actively do things. I didn't say chew things, but maybe I mispronounced it. But we can actively chew things. So if we can actively, with our hands, with our mind, with our tools, do things, and we can't do it, how can you say that by random chance this happened? That's my point. I guess that's how I would prove God. That's the God relation. But my argument wasn't even about God. My argument was just that there is a beyond this world plane of existence. There is a area of existence that exists outside of the 3D material realm. Maybe it's the fourth dimension. There's a higher dimension outside of here or something. But I don't even think that's sufficient. I think you need to think even bigger than there's multiple dimensions, that there's 10 dimensions or whatever, like Carl Sagan talks about. I think it's even more mind-blowing than that. That it is beyond matter, beyond good and evil, beyond matter, beyond anything that we can comprehend. It's just barely in our comprehension. Because we live on this middle earth. We live in a world where we are not just physical and we are not just spiritual. We live on middle earth. As the ancient people would say, we live on middle earth, this transcending from one state of being to another. From the physical to the aphysical, the real to the ethereal, from the living to the dead. And we live here, and this is why we can't really understand what's beyond here. I think I've explained it to the best of human ability. I don't know if that's best of to human ability, but I think I did the best job that I could possibly do, and people as smart as me could do, probably. I hope, God willing.
We'll become like God, and therefore there is a God. See, that would be a better, maybe, or I mean, not, it wouldn't be a good argument. Never mind. I take it back. It'd still be a bad argument.
My argument's not bad, but you just like, you're making up stuff to be angry about. You just like pull out like random stuff that most of it is out of your own brain. Or it's just your ignorant misunderstanding of what I'm saying, okay? And then, based on your made-up contention, which is not even in the video, you then say, therefore, you've debunked the argument, but you haven't even done anything. This is why you have no viewers. Number one, your production quality is awful. Your videos are boring, and I could get away with that. Jordan Peterson makes boring videos. I'd say this live stream isn't the highest production value. I'd say it's a little bit more interesting. You know, we have multiple camera angles. I'm showing the video. You know, I have the little audio bars down there. So I'd say it's a little bit more interesting, and I'm an interesting person, but it's not as interesting as my normal videos. But this is even more interesting than you, because at least what I'm saying is like factually correct. Yeah, like you're saying, AW, Jordan Peterson is engaging because he says thought-provoking things. So he doesn't need high production quality. He has worse audio than me, but yet he has thousands of viewers on all of his stuff because he is an intriguing person and he says stuff that like is actually worthwhile. Isn't a waste of he's not a waste of space. He isn't the human blob. I think even if you had the high production quality, nobody would still watch you because you're not interesting. You are not an intriguing, worthwhile to listen to person. The only reason I've listened to any of your videos is because you called out me. And this is how low you are, Deconverted Man, that you had to call that you, with your 2,000 subscribers, have to leech popularity, have to leech attention from an 18-year-old with 600 subscribers. And this is how far you've fallen. I don't even know if you've fallen or if you've always been here. That you're so uninteresting. The only way you can get viewers is to go search for like the littlest little guy are on the platform. And I'm literally so much more relevant than you with your 2,000 subscribers as a 40-year-old, 50-year-old man that you have to leech off of me. Like, bruh. I don't know, man. Maybe that's too hardcore. Mr. Orange Horseman says, one of the ways that I know that we're correct is that our opposition isn't as funny as we are. So true, though. So true, so true. This is something that Uber Boyo said. And I think Uber Boyo was wrong about it when he was talking about himself. But when I say this statement, I'll be right. We look better than the atheists. We look better than the leftoids. We look better than the Satanists. We sound smarter than the atheists, leftoids, and Satanists. We are a much more compelling movement than their movement can ever be. Although Deconverted Man would probably say that I'm not using logic. Physiognomy is real, people. You can literally tell we're right just by the fact that I am a more attractive person than like 90% of these atheists. I'm definitely more attractive than him. I sound more intelligent than him. With all of my stumbling, I sound like a smarter person than him. And I'm probably less well-read than him. I've probably read less books than him. AW says, with your 5 reasons video, I initially came in thinking it was basic apologetics, but that stuff was genuinely thought-provoking and intelligent. Also, which bread tuber do you hate the most? I don't know which bread tuber I hate the most. Mainly because I don't watch BreadTube. I only know 3 people in BreadTube that I'm like actually familiar with. Yeah, you're right. I don't hate people, but dislike. Which one do I dislike the most, or dislike what they do at least? Like, I don't know. I don't like Vaush because he's supports pedophilia, and I don't know what the deal is with that, and I'm totally against that. With Philosophy Tube, they're a sex pest. And they literally, like, at this point are just making their videos so they can go home and like jerk off to it. So I don't like that. And then there's Destiny, and like that Destiny's like the least bad as far as like content goes, right? Like I don't think he says anything that's that awful. Like I'd say he's wrong on 90% of his points, but he doesn't support pedophilia. He's not a sex pest, but he's just like disgusting, you know? Not to be rude, but it's true. And so yeah, Nuisance was at least able to make funny videos demolishing philosophy boob. And then yeah. So yeah, that's my answer. Destiny is demi supportive of incest, I believe. And Vouch doesn't know how to debate and just attacks people. Well, I'm just attacking people. I don't debate anybody. Semi supportive of incest. Oh well, who cares, man? That's not as bad as supporting pedophilia. Like, at least with like the incest thing, like, I mean, as long as like, I don't know, we're all related at some point, you know. I'm not a supporter of incest, though. That is kind of an awful statement. I'm trying to play devil's advocate, but I don't know how to play devil's advocate for this guy. I'm sorry. Anyways, and then TBF, I've never debated Deconverted Man either. Just insulted his appearance. Okay. Well, let's keep watching our wonderful takedown video as he continues to attempt to take apart all of my arguments. We're on the last argument finally.
It'd be more interesting though. Maybe yeah. I'll leave. Yeah, we're almost done. Let's just get through this.
Average atheist out on the street doesn't like to admit it. All historians, unless they are totally ostracized from the scientific community, will tell you that.
Now, watch him lie, because he's going to, like, I don't know if he's lying or maybe he's just ignorant, but he's going to straight up tell you false information during this point, okay? So I hope you're ready for this, because he's literally going to straight up, like, basically lie to your face.
Jesus was a real person.
No, not all historians will say that, Walls, and I love this. I always love this assertion that apologists do. Give me a list of the historians that all agree on this. You don't have it. It doesn't exist. It's just an empty assertion.
If you look it up, you're gonna find that my assertion's true. I didn't think about this one. I probably should have found a list of all of the people that support this, because they all do. Like most historians also believe that like Buddha was real. They believe that Muhammad was real. They believe like all sorts of stuff. So I'm sure most historians believe Jesus was a real person, and I'd say the evidence that I've seen lines up with that.
And Jesus being a person, yeah. I know, there's people...
And right here, just another example of how he makes an argument and has contention with the point that I'm making before I've even made that point. If he had watched, like, I don't know, the full little thing that I say there, he would know that I actually address the point that he's talking about. But he's not going to... He doesn't do that.
In Mexico right now named Jesus. So what? I guess he's been talking about the Christian version of God this whole time. We didn't know until just now.
This guy's white privilege. The name would be Jesus.
Why would he bring up Jesus? Who cares about Jesus?
Racist. I hate racist, man.
Jesus actually...
Sickening. This is why we're making this video. You got to go hard on these racists, man. You really got to get it through them. That's not okay anymore. This racism is not okay anymore, man. Hate racist. This guy's racist.
He is a historical figure.
Meanwhile, I have like, the Confederate flag.
That you have done in the Bible are also historical events. There's a
actually
difference.
Walked on earth. He was crucified, and that people thought performed all these miracles and thought...
I'm gonna pause for a second. So the guy just made an interesting point that is very true that I want to bring up. So Pickle Rick said, even if you showed the list, that wouldn't even change his position at all. And that's so true. I've argued with so many atheists, right? And they all have the same, like, retarded talking points. They'll bring up, like, for example, like they just keep bringing up like the same issues with Christianity over and over and over again. And they've all been disproven by greater minds than I, right? Like Mike Winger's done a whole video talking about there's no contradictions in the Bible, and he literally proved that there are like that the 5 most major contradictions in the Bible are not real. And you can go look up the video if you want. That they're not contradictions, right? But atheists will still continually bring up that there's these contradictions in the Bible. And the whole reason for that, okay, is because they are dead set on believing that God is not real. So they have to make reality conform to that, which is satanic, because they are essentially Satanists. They believe that their view is the correct worldview, right? That they're God. They basically believe they're God, right? So they need to make the world conform to them. Christianity, on the other hand, is like, I am nothing in the eyes of God, in comparison to the universe, right? I'm nothing. I'm dust. I'm literally less than dust on God's fingernail, right? So therefore, I don't really have the ability to make the universe conform to my will. And if I want to operate best in the world, in the universe, then I should conform my perception of the universe and of the world and of God to reality instead of making reality conform to me. But they do it the opposite way. But then they will claim that it's actually the Christians that are making the world conform to their worldview. But that's just a rhetorical debate strategy. I guess at the end of this, right, like, it just ends up being essentially like a he said, she said argument. Because at the end of the day, right, the atheist can say that, like, earlier, me and Orange Horseman, we both said that, even if they could prove God's not real, I would still believe God's real because I've had so many experiences with God that I don't need scientific evidence to prove it for me. The scientific evidence is just like the cherry on top of the cake, on top of the banana split, the sundae. You know what I'm saying, right? Like, so they would essentially say to me that, oh, well, that's equivalent to what you just said about how atheists are making the world conform to their idea. I mean, even if they could disprove God, I'm still going to ignorantly believe that there is one because of my own personal experiences. So I guess there's really no point in doing this. Pickle Rick says you can know something is true without being able to show that something is true. That is correct, but I think that eventually it is possible to show something is true.
They thought, yeah, they sure did think it, or at least they recorded it later at some point that he did. But who cares? Did he actually do any of it? No, he didn't.
How do you know that?
Rose from the dead.
Throughout the Old Testament, there's all these prophecies of the Messiah. In Psalms, there's...
Now watch this. We're going to get a really great example of him not watching the video. Of him not watching the video and then making it an assertion about how I'm wrong and trying to take me down. And then this assertion is disproven in the next 5 seconds. I don't think that's happened at all during my takedown of his video, of my assertion of dominance over him. I don't think I have once made an assertion that has been proven wrong after I've unpaused the video. Somebody can tell me if that's incorrect. You can say it in the comments, say it in the chat right now. But I don't think I've made a single assertion that 5 seconds after I unpause it, or 10 minutes after I've unpaused it, were proven to be wrong. Have I? We'll see. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong.
One that literally talks about his crucifixion. And what?
The Psalms one. Are you gonna at least give us the biblical reference for it so I can point out how you're wrong theologically speaking, or are you just gonna say it's somewhere in Psalms?
Now, if you're a real Nuisance fan and you pay close attention to my videos, you'll have a big smile on your face right now. You'll be a happy boy, or maybe you'll be really angry because this guy's this stupid. As Mr. Orange Horseman says, this guy's just pulling arguments out of his hat.
People fail to realize
I would have said
none of these could
stronger
have been
words
fulfilled
than
by
that,
just
but,
like
you know.
anyone. It had to be God. Why would he want to do that? For whatever reason.
Okay, so yeah, you didn't even tell us where in Psalms to find it. Making it that since you didn't
Listen to what he's about to say. I'm not going to say anything.
tell us where in the Bible to find it, under Christian theology, when somebody doesn't use the Bible to support their theistic ideas, that person is a false prophet. Congratulations! Under Christian theology, you and your friend are false prophets, and as such, no Christian should listen to you.
You guys hear that? I'm a false prophet under Christian theology. I'm a false prophet. Source, it says so in the Bible. So he's literally no better than me or Noah. Now, I'm going to tell you, number one, he's incorrect about that. And I'm not going to actually source this because I'm not going to, because the biblical standard I don't think says you need to source the Bible. No, it just says that what the biblical standard for a prophet is they cannot be wrong. If they are incorrect about their prophecy, if the prophecy does not come true, if the thing they are saying is incorrect, then they are deserving of death. Now, that's under Mosaic law, under the law of Moses, the Levitical law or whatever, I don't know which one, but, Old Testament law. And we're no longer beholden to that. We are told to not kill people over that, because we are no longer under the law. We are under the new covenant of Jesus Christ, and we can simply walk in the Spirit, following the example of Jesus, rather than walking in the flesh, following the written down rules. But you are in the Old Testament law and in biblical standard, you are deserving of hell if you make a prophecy and that prophecy is not true. Bro, legit, I don't know if you should be doing this rebuttal on this guy. He is legit autistic or something, okay? Okay. Great. Yeah, you think I care? Like, I don't. I'm sorry, I just don't. By the way, if you like the stream, you should like it. I think we got some new people here. Moore's Wolf, from just this, it sounds like the guy is just taking every angle possible with which he can disagree. He is batting every pitch. Yes, literally. He's just like swinging at every ball that he possibly can that's being thrown by the pitcher and taking everyone as a strike instead of waiting for the ball that is perfect so he can hit that home run. Instead, he's just hitting every single ball, and every time it becomes a strike. And he's on his 17th strike now, and he's still refusing to get out of the game. Mr. Orange Horseman says, in your next video, you should state that the Holocaust happened, and to see if he'll disagree with that. I could state it right now. The Holocaust happened. He probably will disagree with that, too. That's the worst part. I hate racists. Bro. But so that's not number one. His standard is false. It's not that you have to have proof in the Bible. Or if you make a claim about the Bible, that needs to be true. Okay, that would make you a liar. You're just making up things. But the standard, from what I understand, now I get this understanding from from The Door, I'm pretty sure. The Door YouTube channel. I haven't read the entire Bible yet, so I can't cite it for you. I'm sorry. If you say anything related to biblical slavery, you'll have a field day with that. I'm not gonna talk about that because that's gonna take me an hour to talk about that. There's so much stuff I can talk about like Bible contradictions and stupid stuff in the Bible that people get upset about. But anyways, point being, I'm not a false prophet. So number one, he's just ignorant. And then number two, he says that I didn't cite a claim. And if you haven't got it already from all the suspense that I'm giving, I literally cite the claim like 30 seconds after the point that he's paused in. But because he has such low impulse control, because he spent 40 years playing with his PP and pretending that his creator in heaven does not exist so that he won't feel bad about watching like the extreme pornography. He has such low impulse control that he can't watch the video to the point where I say that, where I show on screen the exact point that I'm talking about. But let's keep going.
Well done for not quoting the Bible and telling us the verse. Yay! False prophets, everybody. Well done. Not that I care, because I don't care what the Bible says. I'm not a Christian, so I don't care about your theology. But I just thought it would be interesting to note that under Christian theology, if you do not use the Bible...
This guy, like, how can you this confidently get on the internet? I wasn't even confident making this video. I just realized I'm not showing it on screen, sorry. But how can you this confidently get on the internet and make call-out videos about people? How can you be like that? The reason that I haven't done like a bunch of call-out videos, I mean, like, I guess that's rich for me to say because I make a bunch of call-out videos, but I'm always having heart palpitations when I make a call-out video because I want to make sure that if I call out somebody that I'm right. I don't just make up stuff. I don't just make up things when I call out people. Okay? Because this is what happens is you get a 2-hour live stream from your friendly hood making it rain blood from the sky. like bro, how can you be like that? How can you be like that? For real, Mr. Orange Horseman, you said it perfectly. He needs to get his act together. How can you seriously like sit here making call out videos like this? What is going through your mind, my guy, man? How can you this confidently say things that make an entire 1 hour and 6 minute live stream in which everything you say is wrong? Now, not everything that he says is factually wrong, but every refutation to my argument is incorrect and does not refute the argument that he is claiming to refute.
To back your claims about what the Bible says, you don't give the verse, you are a false prophet.
I'm a false prophet,
and no one
guys.
should listen to you.
No one should listen to me. Stop listening to me.
Anyways,
and the Bible says, don't listen to the prophet. Listen to God. After you leave the faith, you're bitter for a while, feeling you've been lied to. You go on about it for a year or two, then hopefully you get over it. Shut up, atheist.
So the psalm that I think he's talking
You're
about...
a furry too. Change your avatar, Morris.
That as prophecy. Also, since the story was written after that thing was written down, there's nothing to prevent somebody from just making up the story.
So, if you didn't hear that, because his speech is so slurred that you can barely make out a single word he said. We're talking about Moors, by the way. I don't know that Deconverted Man is a furry, but Moors Wolf is a furry. Just so everyone knows. So he just said that Psalm 22, which is the verse that I'm quoting, is not a prophecy about the Messiah, and that Jewish people do not consider that a prophecy of the Messiah. Now, that is true. Today, modern Jews will not consider Psalm 22 to be a prophecy of the Messiah. However, we're going to watch a little segment from a Mike Winger video in which he shows that in the past, before, Christianity became extremely widespread and this idea of Psalm 22 became widespread, that Jews did in fact say that this was a prophecy of the Messiah. So let's look at this.
One of the most respected, if not the most respected, Jewish rabbi in history, certainly since the time of the Middle Ages, I think. His full name is Rabbi Shlomo Itzhaki, but they just call him Rashi. This rabbi was considered the greatest Jewish
Mike Winger watchers
for sure, and his commentary is lifted up so highly, it's so highly respected that when they print the Jewish Bible, right, the Hebrew Bible, they print his commentary with it frequently. Like, it's just printed with his commentary because it's considered so important. Now, this particular, so I'm saying he's an authoritative Jewish source. He's not my source. He's a Jewish source. The Jews, though, they got from Rashi this list of 49 male prophets and 7 female prophets. So here's all the prophets of Judaism. He's like, he lists them all, 49 male, 7 female, and David is listed as one of those prophets. David is one of the male prophets of Judaism, according to Rashi. Now, that certainly trumps Aaron Ra. I don't know where his sources are. I've never heard him quote a source when he's talking about religious No, I have heard him. I take that back. I've never heard him quote a good source, to be completely honest. But in this particular video, he doesn't quote a source. He just makes a claim.
Yeah, this was a response to another retarded atheist that's kind of similar to this guy. Ugly, Coomer, freak.
And the things the prophets can speak of Messiah.
I don't know why he wasted his time, because I've never heard of this guy, Aaron Ra. But let's keep going.
He taught that Psalm 22, in particular, was about the future. And I'm quoting Rashi. He said, David recited this prayer for the future. Okay, so this is not some new Christian idea or invention. We're not ripping Psalm 22 out of its context and forcing it to be about Jesus. It was
Mike Winger nationalism, so
he didn't
true.
think it was about Jesus, right? He came after Jesus, didn't believe in Jesus. But he did understand Psalm 22 was about something in the future. And his view was that it was about Israel as one man, a future suffering of Israel as one man. I think it is about one man, one man in Israel. And that fits Jesus quite well. It makes a lot of sense. So there's also a Jewish midrash, famous Jewish midrash from the 8th century AD called the Pesikta Rabbati. And I may have spelled that wrong. I think it might be 2 S's for Pesikta. I'm trying to remember now. Anyway, here's the quote from this midrash. It was because of the ordeal of the son of David that David wept, saying, my strength is dried up like a potsherd. Now, here's what you got to know. If you're a Gentile and you don't know this, when it says son of David, it means Messiah. This is Jewish speak for Messiah. This became a normal title for Messiah. The Messiah is compared to David so constantly in Jewish writings. In fact, in Ezekiel, it just calls the Messiah David. He's just called David. And so the son of David is code for Messiah. This is why when Jesus is walking and there's these blind men that want to be healed, they cry out to him, Son of David, have mercy on us.
So if you guys didn't, if that's not proof enough for you, I think we've seen enough of that video though. The Jewish people, up until when this idea of Psalm 22 being a prophecy about Jesus, and when that connection was widely spread that Psalm 22 is talking about Jesus, most Jewish people believed that Psalm 22 was not only a prophecy of the future, but was a prophecy about their Messiah. And I would like to read for you Psalm 22. I think it's important. I think it's an important thing that we all need to read. Now, I don't have my fancy Bible software opening, so we're just using what is this? BibleGateway.com. And you'll recognize everything that I'm about to read in the story of Jesus, because this is literally one-to-one with the story of Jesus. He even says words that Jesus says. So we begin verse 1. My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from helping me and from the words of my roaring? Oh my God, I cry in the daytime, but you hear not, and in the night season, and am not silent, but you are holy. O you that inhabits the praises of Israel. Our fathers trusted in you, they trusted, and you did deliver them. They cried unto you and were delivered. They trusted in you and were not confounded. But I am a worm, and no man, a reproach of men, and despised of the people. All they that see me laugh in scorn. They shoot out the lip and they shake their heads, saying, he trusted in God that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing he delighted in him. But you are he that took me out of the womb. You did make me hope when I was upon my mother's breasts. I was cast upon thee from the womb. You are my God from my mother's belly. Be not far from me, for trouble is near. There is none to help. Many bulls have compassed me. Strong bulls of Bashan have beset around me. I'm sorry. I'm bad at reading the Old English. They gaped upon me with their mouths, as ravening as a roaring lion. I am poured out like water. All my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax. It is melted in the midst of my bowels. My strength is dried up like a potsherd. I don't know what that means. My tongue is cleaved to my jaws, and you have brought me to the dust of death. For dogs have encompassed me. The assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. I may tell all my bones. They look and stare upon me. They part my garments among them. They cast lots upon my vesture. Be not far from me, O Lord, my strength. Haste you to help me. Deliver my soul from the sword, my darling from the power of the dog. Save me from the lion's mouth, for you have heard me from the horns of the unicorns. I will declare my name unto my brethren. In the midst of the congregation, I will praise you. You that fear the Lord, praise him. All you seed of Jacob, glorify him, and fear him, all you seed of Israel. For he has not despised nor abhorred the affliction of the afflicted, neither has he hid his face from him. But when he cried unto him, he heard. My praise be of you in the great congregation. I will pay my vows before them that fear him. The meek shall eat and be satisfied. They shall praise the Lord that seek him. So hard to read. Your heart shall live forever. All the ends of the world shall remember and turn unto the Lord, and all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before you. For the kingdom is the Lord's, and he is the governor among the nations. All they that be fat upon the earth shall eat and worship. All they that go down to the dust shall bow down before him, and none can keep alive his own soul. A seed shall serve him. It shall be accounted to the Lord for a generation. They shall come, they shall declare his righteousness unto all the people that shall be born, that he has done this. I hope that wasn't too bad of a reading. Could always read the NIV. Well, we're already done. I think I did a good job reading that, though. Guys should applaud me. You should like the video if I did it, to give me support, because I'm illiterate. No, King James is always best. Yeah, I think, in my opinion, King James version is like the best version because it has a lot of detail that seems to be missed in like the modern English quote unquote translations. So I like to use the King James version more. But we look throughout that whole thing, and that's like a one-to-one. It's talking about Jesus. He's been lashed. He's been torn apart. His body is being torn apart. His blood has been drained out of him. His heart is slowly coming to a stop. He's dehydrated, and he has been pierced in his hands and his feet. He's up on the cross in front of everyone, and they all hate him, but he still praises the Lord so that the people who are faithful in the crowd might also hear him praising the Lord. And that this story would be taught for generations, that people would cast lots for his clothes. They would gamble for his garments. And if you actually like read the Gospels, everything that was said in that happens. And he even quotes this psalm. He literally says verses from this psalm.
Insane.
But it's not a prophecy. It's not a prophecy about Jesus.
That happened. And this fulfilled that prophecy. Oh, how convenient. And finally, there's also nothing to prevent the writer from changing what was in the Old Testament to align with the New Testament, which is something that Jewish people also complain about happens with the Torah. The Torah is is different than the Old Testament, and the differences are remarkable and very important.
For sure,
the
man.
Jewish people do not recognize Jesus as the Messiah.
Great,
for
who cares?
multiple reasons. None
Who
of
cares?
the things that they were looking for.
And why are they all starting to turn atheists? What's the deal with all these secular Jews? I wonder if maybe the reason why they have lost faith in God is because they are worshiping a religion that hasn't been updated in 2,000 years, because, you know, their Messiah came, and they are now reading a book that has been that was written 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000 years ago, writing about this coming Messiah. Okay, and the Messiah hasn't come, and there have been no new prophets. There's been no new news from God. And maybe that's why they're starting to become secular Jews. Maybe that's why they're all losing faith that there isn't something beyond. I don't know. But nah, dude. They're right.
And that they prophesied come true in Jesus. Not even close, not a little bit, not at all. Period. End of story. Thanks for playing.
Yeah, and that's why they're all losing
The
faith.
things that the Christians claim are prophecies are not what Jewish people say were prophecies. But, again, who cares about actual history, logic, and reason? We're
You
just
don't.
going to pretend that this
You don't
is all
care about
true.
that.
Okay, sure,
You pretend that
whatever.
what you say is true.
Reason why would he want to do that? Why would he want to go around his entire life and try to fulfill all these prophecies when he knows he's going to die a certain way? Nobody would just do that.
See, I think people don't understand the true importance of the story of Jesus. The true
I don't care about what you think the true importance of the Jesus story is. I don't think that you
What
would
is
know
the point of
the
this?
true anything about anything at this point, based on how many logical fallacies you.
Morris says, assuming one was to attempt to fulfill that prophecy and knew the exact verses, would they not have their disciples carry on the oral tradition that they did just that? What? Morris, I don't know what your point is. My point is that if somebody fulfills all the prophecies, okay, and like they rise from the dead, they defeat death, okay, which proves that they're not just someone fulfilling all the prophecies, but that they also have supernatural powers. At that point, right, like, then maybe the prophecy's actually real, you know? I don't know, man. But also, show me all the people that have fulfilled all these prophecies, man. Show me all the people who have died with their hands and their feet pierced. Show me all these, man.
You've had so far, and, well, not that I care, but the theological problems that you also have.
Well, according to Moores and Niska, and according to Moores, man, we are supposed to believe that Jesus woke up one day and decided, I think I'll fulfill all the prophecies of the Messiah. And how was he actually going to do that exactly? Think about the logistics of that, okay? That he manages to fulfill all of these prophecies, like even in his death, he fulfills these prophecies. It literally is written on his cross, King of Israel, King of the Jews. Behold, the King of the Jews. On his cross as he's being crucified as the most hated person from the Jewish people. Right? What like how do you make that happen? If there was a rabbi who was named Jesus who wanted to claim that he is the one to fulfill the prophecies, would he not have his disciples start oral traditions claiming that he did so? Okay, great. Wow. So why would they die to, like, number one, okay, like, your premise, I don't understand your premise, but if your premise is that he made up this story and he told his disciples to go out and preach this stuff, that he did it even though he really didn't, why would their disciples willingly, like, die over that? Like, for example, Paul literally said, I am not worthy to die the same way Jesus did when they crucified him. And so he demanded that they kill him in any other way, even if it was more disgusting and more torturous than Jesus, because he did not deserve to die the same way that his Savior did. So they crucified him upside down, and I think they, like, slit his throat or something like that. And you're telling me, yeah, dude, these people, they just were, trying to make a lie real. His disciples could be honestly convinced there are many that would die in the name of their professed religion. Okay. But I'm saying, if they knew if somebody literally lies to your face, how are you not going to know they're lying? He gained the support of Paul, a man who condemned Christians to death. Obviously, they must have just been very dedicated to the hook. So true, man. Christianity is, like, false, dude. They died just because, they were convinced by this really tricksterful man. Yeah, that's what happened. And they went out and they spent like 80 years of their lives preaching, not 80 years, but like 40 years of their lives preaching throughout the entire world about this guy, being persecuted, being hunted to the death for years and years and years. They never thought about, maybe this is all not real. Maybe I shouldn't be following this ideology, this religion. Maybe this guy was lying to me. Maybe I should give this up. And they went all the way to the death and then picked a excruciating, horrifying way to die.
Specific problems that you don't understand. I don't know. But none of that proves God. Not even a little. Does he say anything that could prove God within the last few minutes? He's only got 2 left. Let's fast forward through it so we can get through it. And then we'll be done with
low
this.
Impulse control. Low impulse control right here.
Unless he decides to come on and talk to me live. That will be entertaining.
True beauty in it is that Jesus came right at the perfect time when history was just beginning to be written down, and that those records would be kept. And the fact is,
yeah, but Jesus should have appeared in China where writing was rampant.
Why would he appear in China when in China they had no concept of a God? Like people that don't read the Bible don't understand this. So I'll explain this to everyone. Why did Jesus appear in Israel, and why did he appear at the time that he appeared, right? Because he's saying, why didn't Jesus appear in China? So the whole point, okay, is that Abraham, all right, there's a guy named Abraham, and he was the most faithful servant of God, okay? He actually believed in God. He had serious faith in God. And because he passed the test of his faith, he was promised that he would have a nation, that his descendants would be greater than the stars in the sky and the grains of sand on the ground. And that his seed would do a great work for the entire world. Because so God, for all we know, right? God might have, given other tests to other people, for all we know, that just aren't recorded. But the only one who seriously had faith in this God who had appeared to them was Abraham. Because Abraham passed this test of faith, and when he had serious faith, this was accounted to him as righteousness. Even in all of his flaws, he was accounted as righteous, as a great person in God's eyes, and he was promised that from his seed, the world would be helped, right? And that his seed would be as great as there are stars in the sky and grains of sand on the earth. So Jesus had to appear through Abraham's seed somehow. And he would have to appear at a time when it had been established that, number one, that there is a God. Number two, that we should follow God. Number three, that people are punished for not following God and that they deserve punishment for following God. But number four, what also needs to be established, okay, is that we are all morally bankrupt we do not live up to God's standard, okay? And then within this culture that has this idea, all these things have been set up that we should do God's will. Those who don't do God's will are punished. Those who do evil, who do bad things to each other, they're punished. And that we are morally bankrupt. Like we do not live up to our own moral standard, let alone God's moral standard. That's where Jesus has to appear. And he just happens to appear right when it would be possible for history to be written down for him. So, yeah. Let's finish this stupid video.
Was widespread, but instead...
Blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Blah, blah, blah.
He actually showed the thing. I take back the thing that I said about being a false prophet now.
Low impulse control Coomer idiot.
Damn it.
And you can say maybe that story was fabricated, but you really look at the Bible, it definitely wasn't. It wouldn't be possible without there being a bunch of errors in the text. There'd be a bunch of contradictions with all these different authors writing about.
Yeah, there are a lot of contradictions.
And this guy says that there's a bunch of contradictions in the Bible, which, if you want a good video on that, I might make a video on this, but I feel like other people have already covered this better than I can. But if you want to look up disproving contradictions, I think Mike Winger has a great video on that where he looks at 5 of the biggest Bible contradictions and he disproves all of them, like to the point where like you can't even say that there is a contradiction.
It's easy to make up a contradiction-free story. Read The Lobsterist.
And then he says, it's easy to make up a contradiction-free story. Yes, it is easy to make a contradiction-free story. If I write the contradiction-free story and I know what I just wrote like 5 seconds before and 10 days ago, what is hard is to write a contradiction-free story based on something that I made, that a group of people made up, okay, that is not real, that did not happen, okay? And then for like 16, 20 people to all write their own version of the story, right? Their own way, or their own retelling of the story. And then for those like 16 retellings of the story, they all are like virtually the same as far as like the major plot points, and there is nothing about the major plot points or even the little plot points that contradicts. Like they are all they're all worded differently. They're all, because it's being told by 16 different people, but they all talk about the same thing and say that the same things happen. They all confirm each other. So I don't know, but I guess that's really easy to do. So I'll give a challenge to anyone that wants to take this on. Well, actually, I can't even do that because this wouldn't even be a good way to do it. Because if I gave you a story and told you to rewrite the story, you all could just rewatch the video, right? So I guess that's not even like possible. And in addition, though, they wrote the same story, all without even being aware that other people were writing it, or they might have been aware that other people were writing it, but they didn't know what they were writing. I'm sure of that. Saint Mark was in Ethiopia, I'm pretty sure, when he wrote the Gospel of Mark. So he's in Africa. Then you have Saint Luke, who's, I believe, was probably up in Greece or Rome. And then you had who else? Matthew. I don't know where Matthew was. I know John was probably in like Turkey, I believe, probably. I don't know all the deep lore about that. But still, like, I'd say that's good enough proof. That's good enough proof to me that these people that were all scattered around the world wrote the same story, 16-ish different people.
Contradictions in it.
And there are no contradictions. I don't need to disprove that. I might make a video on that at some point in the future, but I'm not doing it right now.
Jesus really lived. He really fulfilled these prophecies. He really lived. God has to be real. Listen, I know a lot of atheists might say you're not exactly right on that point. Maybe you're a little bit right, Mr. Nui Sands, but you're not.
All right. So I think that's the end of this. That's the end of this video. But we're not done. You thought we were done? We're not done. We are not in the slightest done. Before we get to that, let me read a couple comments. So Moores was saying, the non-biblical historical texts that reference Jesus only mention him in reference to people worshiping him as a figure, to my knowledge. Enough to easily believe that there was a historical figure of him, but not enough to speak of any supernatural powers. So yeah, I didn't say that they said that. I said that if you watch my video, I said that people thought that he had supernatural powers. That is 100% true, that people did think that Jesus had supernatural powers and that he was a real person. Mr. Orange Horseman says, how are multiple different people going to make a contradiction-free story over centuries? Metlau says, yeah, most Bible contradictions are false. Now, if you want false religions, Islam has you covered. So true, man. Did a video on Islam, basing it of the previous works. Okay, great. Mr. Orange Horseman says, you'd think somebody would have made a mistake at some point. Exactly. How are 16-ish different people, or even just like 4, right? Let's just say just 4. How are they, like, because that's the 4 Gospels, but there's more books in the Bible than just the 4 Gospels, right? But how are the 4 Gospels, right, all going to be contradiction-free if all the people wrote it in, like, basically in private, totally disconnected from the other 3 people, right? How are they going to write the same story? How is Paul writing letters which don't necessarily directly speak on the gospel and don't tell the full story? How is it that stays consistent? How is it that Acts, when people preach about the gospel in the book of Acts, the Acts of the Apostles after Jesus died, why is it when they preach about the gospel that it's consistent not just with Luke, the author's gospel, but is also consistent with Mark, Matthew, and, oh, I already said Luke, Mark, Matthew, and John? How is that? How'd that happen? How is it that when Peter writes it and writes about it, he also says very similar things to what the Gospels say? how's this happening? How's this happening, man? What's going on? James, how did that happen? How did James write it exactly the same? I don't know, it's just weird. It's just weird. Just odd. It's a little weird, you know? It's a little weirdo, a little odd. Pickle Rick says, there are texts around the time of Jesus that mention him by name, but to my knowledge, they are among the texts that the church consider not inspired by God. They don't hold the same historical power that a historian's account would have, however. Pickle Rick says, no, I believe that there was some coordination among the disciples in order to make sure that they got the whole story straight. I think specifically with St. Peter, but the story stayed generally the same, even with different timings among the writings of the Gospels of the book. I don't think that there was any coordination because they kind of were written, like, not at a time when that could happen. But, I mean, if you want to believe that. So the story's not over with our boy. We might have finished the video. But things get a little spicy. So in the comments, you know, I sent people from the Discord to raid this video. And so in the comments, there's a very interesting debate here. We can just read what people. So Mr. Orange Horseman, our boy, says, grow up. Deconverted Man says, what is your argument? Mr. Orange Horseman says, your physiognomy. Deconverted Man says, that's not an argument. Keep trying. Mr. Orange Horseman says, you aren't making any sense. Deconverted Man says, an argument must attack the ideas, not the person. Mr. Orange Horseman says, were you bullied in school by chance? Deconverted Man says, you're not doing logic. Produce a coherent argument. You aren't doing logic. You're not answering my questions, says Mr. Orange Horseman. Produce an honest answer. And then Deconverted Man leaves a paragraph and says, you started with an attack on my person rather than an argument. You should grow up, as if that has any coherent meaning or relevance to the context of the argument I produced. Rather it is a sad reflection of your own inability to understand logic. To wit, it seems you are in fact the one who needs to grow up. If indeed by grow up we mean to learn something new, you need to learn and use logic. Something that you are not doing so here. It's bad. It's badly worded. This has bad grammar. If he's gonna make fun of me about bad grammar, unless and until you do so, you are not making and will not make any argument. I have no reason to answer your irrelevant. Oh no, you're irreverent. He deserves reverence, guys. He deserves reverence. His irreverent. Disrespectful. We're disrespecting him. We're just being so disrespectful. We're so disrespectful, man. Your irreverent questions and shall block you should you continue to ask them rather than engage in useful discord. Or perhaps you need it to be put a different way. You need to deal with me on a grown-up level, something you are failing to do. I just want to mention, like, you can tell this dude's like a coomer. This guy's internet brain rotted. Because he says, instead of saying engage in useful discourse, he says engage in useful discord. This guy's literally a Discord mod. Mr. Orange Horseman says, boo-hoo, I don't care. And Deconverted Man responds, and there you have it. You have no argument and are the one that needs to grow up. Well done. Perhaps learn some logic and come back when you have matured. Moss says Deconverted Man's time-wasting, long-ass, poorly written paragraph versus Mr. Orange Horseman's time-saving and solid I don't care. So true, man. We love it. We love to see it. We love to see it, man. So after this, Deconverted Man He challenged me to a debate. And he did this in the video, but I refused to watch the video. Okay? So, I just want to read this to you because this is the most gay challenge to a debate I have ever, like, read. So, when he said, I'm going live, enjoy the show, I said, will it stay up because I'm not watching it live? Which I ended up watching it live because I didn't have headphones at the time, but I ended up finding them, right? Basically. So he's like, but you did, and I saw you in the chat, acting like this is some kind of own. Like, I wasn't expecting to watch it live, but I ended up doing so. I guess I'm a bad person or something. So you want to debate, question mark. It will be, and then these are the terms of his debate. These are the terms of his debate. I want you to listen to this because this is just so gay. This is like the definition of homosexuality. It will be a topic of my choice. So already I'm going into this debate and I don't get to know what the debate is going to be about. Okay? So it's going to be whatever random thing he picks. Number 2, I only get one syllogism. So, and that doesn't necessarily apply to him. He can get as many syllogisms as he wants. But I only get one syllogism. Now, I didn't know what the hell a syllogism is because I'm not a book cuck, but we can look up syllogism. What is a syllogism? And what this means... I'll look up an image for you. Why did this image have to be cut off? Premise 1, premise 2, conclusion. Okay? So basically you say, if this is true and this is true, therefore this conclusion follows. And I can only say one thing. So that means basically, instead of making a chain of thought flow, I can only bring up one thought, okay? So I can only use one thought for my argument. I can only make 3 statements during the entire debate, and that's it. Okay? It continues. Oh wait. Wrong video. Where is it? Okay, here it is. It will be analyzed by someone who understands logic. So then he is going to pick somebody who is probably his friend and who is biased to him, who he claims understands logic, which I don't know how you're going to do that. Does he have a degree in logic? Because I have a degree in logic. I got it from the University of Science. Thank you very much. The one who has more logical fallacies will then have to admit live on camera that they are wrong. Agree to those conditions and we will debate. So, this guy is literally just saying, I'm going to pick someone who's going to 100% of the time say that I win and that you lose. So I'm going to pick a moderator, and instead of the audience deciding who wins and loses, instead it's going to be the moderator that decides who wins and loses. It's going to be based on logical fallacies, which are really, really, really nebulous, okay? If we're really going to base a debate on that, that's a really nebulous way to decide who wins, because, like, number one, how are you going to prove that something's a logical fallacy, right? And number two, like, how can I trust that the moderator is judging that accurately? And then whoever has more of these logical fallacies is the loser. So, and then he says, I have to agree to, so these are the conditions. Number one, he's choosing the topic of the debate, and I don't get to know what that topic is because I asked him and he doesn't answer, okay? So I don't get to know what the topic of the debate is. So the debate could be about, do unicorns exist? The debate could be about is touching your pee-pee bad? At least I could do a debate on that. But the thing is, I don't know what the debate's going to be about. Number two, all right, I only get to make three statements, okay? And that's it. That's the entire argument. It's just going to be three statements from me. But he is not beholden to that, which means he can say as much as he wants. And I'm just going to make three statements, and then I'm going to be muted for the argument. And then whoever is moderating it, who's going to be someone of his choosing, is going to just say that he won. And then they're going to say, I have to admit that I'm wrong or something. And basically all I get from this is that this guy, on top of being stupid, on top of being a boring waste of internet data, is also a pussy and is afraid to debate me like a normal person. Like, I don't know, we just get on a Discord call or a Google Hangout call and we just like talk to each other. He's too scared to do that. He's afraid of me or something. I don't know what's going on here. So that's the real conclusion, that Deconverted Man is a big stupid pussy that is a washed up like ex-celebrity, I guess, who has wasted his life rationalizing to himself why it is okay for him to touch his pee-pee. Okay? And had a small shot at fame, had 2,000 subscribers, and squandered his shot at fame because he refuses to, like, evaluate his own thoughts and refuses to consider maybe the way I do things or what I do is wrong. And it is just another proof that our movement, the radical Christian movement, which is what we're calling this, I'm not America First, okay? I'm not a groiper. We're radical Christians, okay? And that's how we're identifying ourselves from now on, okay? We're Christians. We are followers of Christ. We're not followers of any of these political people. We're not Doyleists. We're not Nuisance fans. That our movement is just simply like a better is more compelling, cooler, more based than red pilled. We're more epic. They're cringe, we're based, and that's just the answer. And I think a part of him failing this hard is just the fact that he did not understand that we are not the same breed of little fake retard, gay, little slimy televangelists that have dominated the Christian scene for the past 50 years, have dominated the internet for the past 10 years. We are way cooler than them. And the reason why is because God is actually with us. We actually follow the words of our Lord. And because of that, we have been gifted with knowledge. We have been gifted with wisdom. We have been gifted to be based and red-pilled. And he's not prepared to do that. None of these people are prepared to take us on. We are more compelling than everyone else because we have God on our side. And he wasn't expecting that. And this is just proof. Look at where the Lord takes you. Mr. Orange Horseman says, I'm going to remember this stream for the rest of my life. I trust that this stream is going to be archived. My phone died, so I'm going to have to watch the bits I missed later. He's afraid that you're going to bring me on as your debate partner. I should. And then I'm going to grind him into the dust again. So based. So true. So true. That's based. So epic. He literally just did the baby pose. Did I? I'm the baby. Let's go. Ha ha. Ha ha. Let's go. Had a mill, now it's gone. Let's go. Like, see, people are not ready for us, man. We're about to make a big storm. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting a little too cocky or whatever. But I'd say that's the end of my stream, is that I think that our movement, this movement that we have going on right here, right now, is about to make a massive drop, okay, on the world, okay? Because that Jesus, as long as we stay with Jesus Christ, and we don't stray off the path, we don't start doing some bizarre stuff, we don't become hypocrites, we're about to make a big drop in this world, in this sphere of the internet. All right? When Nuisance doesn't answer whether or not I hate whether or not the stream is going to be archived. The stream's going to be archived, don't worry. I think I'm just going to keep it up. But we're going to make a big drop on this internet very soon. I'm very optimistic about this. Because we are just simply the most compelling people on the internet at the moment. Me, Noah, other Nuisance friends, Julia, Orange Horseman, all the rest of the people that are with us at the moment. We are just the most compelling people on the internet. And it's because we have Jesus Christ as our Savior, our Lord and Savior. So yeah, I don't know. Just be optimistic, I guess. That's about all I have to say. What are they gonna do? Make a stupid, awful video like this? Wow. Wow. Alright, so I don't know what I'll play. I guess I'll just play this Bryson Gray song, Never Fold. That'll be our that's the message to you. Never fold, guys. So yeah, guys, have a good night. Before I leave, before we play the song, in the link in my description of this, I have a link to a YouTube channel, which is the new YouTube channel that Sunday school will be done on, because I cannot stream on any of my channels the Sunday school streams. So anyways, let's go. Bryson Gray, based and red pilled. So make sure you subscribe to that channel and hit the notification bells on that Nuisance channel. You can look it up if the link doesn't work. It's Nuisance, okay? Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. We will be doing a stream tomorrow on there. Alright, peace out, everybody. Never fold.
I'm preaching God's word the same way that it's told. Never fold, never fold, never fold, never fold. I'ma stand 10 toes and I never sell my soul. And I know that I get persecuted, but it's what I chose. And the devil trying to lead you down all these ungodly roads. Ay, better read Ezekiel 3:18. Ain't no way to misinterpret what I mean. If you don't want a sinner's blood is on your hands, I'd rather want them all to wipe the slate clean. They say Bryson, but the way you say it mean. But y'all don't preach the word of God at all, so what you mean? And you acting like you Christian now so you can make some green. And you can't serve God in the world, so you better pick a team. And they claim to be for Christ, but they gon' fold. These boys acting like they lions, they ain't bold. Your favorite Christian rapper used to have his soul, but look what happened, Satan came and it got sold. And I may never go platinum or go gold, but this what happens when you walk the narrow road. They say, Bryson, you too harsh and you too cold. I'm preaching God's word the same way that it's told. You cannot serve God and money, one of them you gon' despise. Evil rulers think they winning, but warriors on the rise. And they know that I'm protected, I got the armor of God. And I never compromise, and I won't apologize. You can look me in my eyes if you think that I'm surprised. And they trying to cancel me, but look how I beat their eyes. When you seek the kingdom first, then God will handle the rest. But you add into the word, do you serve God or yourself? Hey, and I ain't turned down yet, wait, I let you catch your breath. I've experienced to the test, on the 7th day I rest. You haven't gave your life to God, that's probably why you depressed. Turn away from these pagans and turn to God so you'll be blessed. And they came to be for Christ, but they gon' fold. These boys acting